this episode of Taskforce Geek, we welcome comic artist and writer and Ranking Studios member Robert Henry, who attended OKC Horror Con this weekend. We're doing show and tell by the artist in the group. We got several artists here that are all working. Also, we do an 80s Reboot Extravaganza with Snake Eyes and He-Man, and we've all known each other for decades, so who knows what's going to happen. That's all coming up next. Welcome to Taskforce Geek. My name is Dirk Cooper, and today I am joined by Sean.
Yep.
And Scott.
Howdy.
And Walt.
What's up?
Who's under a weather alert or something?
Yeah, I think it's over.
Okay. Who knows in Texas?
Yeah.
Do you have power, Walt?
Yes,
No, if he doesn't, how's he
There's no
doing
power
that?
right now.
If he doesn't
Man,
have
your
power,
battery backup is awesome.
It's amazing. And once again, we've got Mega Man. We've got Robert Henry.
Hello.
It's one of our old buddies, and who's going to have some cool stories about OKC Con. Hey, coming up, we got some comments already. What is this? Oh my gosh, it's Ronnie. Ronnie is first.
Ronnie's here.
Ronnie wins the... Welcome, Ronnie. How about that? How did that happen?
How do, sir?
That is bonkers. We are broadcasting live from my Facebook account, which is that right there, plus YouTube, which is that right there, and my Twitter account, which is that right there. If you are interested in being a guest on Taskforce Geek, please contact us at taskforcegeek@gmail.com. We want to hear from you on that. And if you're watching live, please share this right now. Share it on Twitter, share it on YouTube, share it on Facebook, please. And that way your platform becomes our platform. We will deeply appreciate that. Is there anything else I didn't cover there, guys? I think that's it. We're going to go to our... Whoa. We got a lot of comments here before we go to the first thing. Ronnie says he's first in our hearts.
Always, Ronnie. Always.
Gary says, I feel like Rob has me pinned to the floor with this angle he's got going tonight.
Yes. It's superiority.
Interesting. Ashel says, good evening. Hello,
Howdy.
Good evening, man.
Good evening, Ishel.
Ronnie says, first in our hearts, but last in life.
Why is the song Owner of a
Damn.
Lonely Heart coming to mind now?
Damn.
There we go. Somebody.
Such a downer, Ronnie.
The heck, man?
All right, let's get to our first doodad. What are we gonna call this? Yeah. What? Segment?
Segment. There we go.
Portion? Thing?
Just play some music. We don't care.
Do-donk? Diddly dong?
Whoa.
Not that.
We're not. No
Sean's
diddly
favorite thing,
dongs.
which is flip bong. We're going to go to the flip bong now.
No flip bong, diddly dong, doo wop, diddy diddy.
Is there something y'all want to tell us?
Doodle doodle doo.
Nope.
Wubba wubba
Wubba
wubba.
wubba.
There you go.
Yep. All right. So here it is. Horror Con with Robert Henry and Bad Candy.
Hello. Yeah. Well.
Sean's
OKC.
already enjoying this.
All right. Well, very good. OKC Horror Con put together a really fun con, and believe it or not, they actually did it at Remington Park, which is a racetrack and casino. But they actually made it work and did a nice spacing job of it. We decided to go to that because we thought we were doing a horror comic. Go ahead and do that, enjoy that, and see what we could put ourselves in front of a new audience. We've done plenty of comic shows before, but it was a lot of fun to just get out there and kind of play to our audience. And I think that was the best thing that I enjoyed more than anything about it, was that you got yourself in front of a new set of fans, new people that hadn't seen your work before. They really didn't even know it existed. And we got a lot of really great attention, had a lot of fun. Still just did our same thing, sold lots of pictures and sketches and then comic books, and just kind of promoted upcoming adventures and things like that. And So it was a lot of fun, and I think it was very good that they decided to put something like that together. I think it's as the producers of the show said, when they decided to try and find locations, a lot of places were like, horror, I don't know if we want to do that, but it was very well attended. There were a lot of people that showed up, and it was a lot of fun. They had some Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes.
He was there.
Yeah, he was there. Danielle Harris was there as well. She was like in Halloween 4 and several other little things. Yeah. Then
what did he do?
Danielle Harris, she was in Halloween 4.
She was.
I'm sorry.
She's the niece of Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp was there as well.
Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, and Bill Moseley from the Rob Zombie regular in the House of a Thousand Corpses.
Now that's a name I know.
Yep. Yeah, he was quite cool. He was very friendly. I ran into him.
Sean, you okay? Did you just blow something there?
I'm having an aneurysm.
I said the thing that I knew that would get to him the most.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet. He thinks I should see Sleepaway Camp.
Everybody should see.
He thinks it's seminal, like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Or like do the right thing, right, Sean?
Right.
Do the right thing.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but it was done. It was fun. I actually got a commission to draw Bill Moseley, and I guess the guy was going to probably have him sign it or whatever. Guy didn't come back for it, so it's still sitting in my.
Still got it.
Still have it, and but Bill Moseley did get to see it, and he actually did a little fake tear up whenever he saw it and stuff, and he said that was really cool, and so he liked it. So it's kind of neat to get that.
Did you get him to sign it?
Yeah, you should have said buy this, dude.
Here, buy a sketch that I did of you.
I did this. You should buy it. It's of you.
Robert
my God!
The person he's on top of is getting up. So Robert,
there you go. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was I was surprised in some of that they were able to get some of the guests that they got. There were a couple other guests that they're escaping me right now, the names of them that were there. I think they had a couple of last minute cancellations, but overall, it still was a very well attended show. Lots of there were several other artists there that were exhibiting their work. And we just, I'm just glad that we did it. You had everything from fortune tellers to they even had little mock-up haunted houses that they had made, games and all sorts of stuff. It was actually very well conceived, and it was a lot of fun. So I'll definitely be back the next one next year.
Did you get to bet on horses?
No, there weren't. That's the reason why Remington Park's probably like, hey, we got to fill this space up. It's not horse racing.
Oh, they're not running horses right now.
Yeah, and so that's probably why this was very well.
They do have a casino there, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the casino's up on the second floor, and then they had this on the lower floor. And
I got some questions about the convention, but let me get to some people here. Steve says greetings from the beach in Florida.
Ooh.
I've heard that routine before.
Nice.
Watch your glasses, Steve.
Man, do not go into the ocean with your glasses.
That's a bad idea.
Wow. Okay, so Ashell says sleepaway camp.
Oh, she doesn't know.
She apparently is not.
I think she's telling Camp to sleep away. Sleep away, Camp.
Okay.
Okay.
Maxine says, "Good evening, y'all."
Howdy.
Good evening, Maxine.
Good evening.
And there's Jerry says, "Hey guys."
Howdy.
Luke.
Start a little stuff. So Rob, how long has HorrorCon been going on?
I believe they've been going on for 3 years now, but the first couple of years it was a much smaller con.
Was it at the fairgrounds? I
believe so. Yes, initially I think it was at the fairgrounds, and I think that was one of the reasons why they didn't have it because the fairgrounds still has from what I understand, still has a pretty strict COVID thing going on, spacing out tables and things of that nature. And so I think it's
really?
Yeah. But at least that's what I heard from New World Comic Con, which went on this last weekend as well. So,
and that was it at the fairgrounds, correct?
Yes, that was. Yes.
Okay.
So.
Hey, it's that's 2 geeky conventions in one weekend.
Exactly.
In Oklahoma City, that's pretty good news, right?
Yeah. I think so. I think it was kind of neat to see that. It's a shame they had to put them on the same weekend, but it was still really, really cool that they were happening, and that's really, really good sign, I think. So
you were at the convention. Why were you there?
There to promote the book, and really, honestly, like
what
I said,
book?
Bad Candy. I'm sorry, my apologies. Yes, the comic book that me and Joe Evans works on. and it's called Bad Candy. It's a Halloween horror comic, and so therefore we were kind of really in our element. But we treated it just like we would a normal comic show, and did lots of sketches, had our books for sale, had original art on display, and things of that nature. And so it turned out to be, like I said, a really, really good thing, I think, overall. So it was a lot of fun.
Who all was there with you?
We had Joe Evans, who is the penciler for Bad Candy, and guy that I kind of bounced the ideas off of as we're working through the script. We had Toxic Goddess Ocean, who is a model who I've worked with for many, many years, and she was there selling photographs, a lot of the ones that I took, and calendars and such. We also had Scott Van Eck, who made an appearance on Sunday, and he did a cover for us, as well as he will be doing something in the upcoming Bad Candy Tasty Treats, which we are working on, and will hopefully have in the near future through a Kickstarter and so forth. And so we all did that, and Scott made an appearance there on Sunday, and it was good to have him out there, and he was selling a lot of his prints of the airbrush work he's done, and he was also drawing and doing original sketches while we were out there. So.
Does anyone have any questions about the Horror Con for Rob? I've got some stuff to share here, and we could go through that.
Yeah, share us cool things.
All right.
Sure.
Well,
Oh, I have questions, but they're all ridiculous. Like, did you punch like any of these movie stars, or are they really small people? Are Hollywood people like small people?
Yeah, they are.
That we all look up to, and then we see them in person, it's like, I could pick you up with my hand. You're like a puppy.
Yeah,
I was disappointed that Hulk Hogan wasn't like 10 feet tall when I saw him.
Yeah. Bill Moseley, obviously you see him in these movies, and it's just like, whoa, that dude's a scary dude. And you see him there, he's all clean heads, shaved, cropped close, and
that's acting.
Everything. Yeah, exactly.
That's acting, folks.
Yeah, and then but he's got a good sense of humor about it. He was walking through the hallway with at one point.
Is he a big guy?
No, he's not. He's a small stature guy,
Right.
and he
buys a small shirt or a medium.
Probably a medium. So.
Okay, well.
Dude, are you thinking about Christmas, or
are you trying to figure out what you need for the size?
No, it's just like that kind of tells you how like big somebody is. You're like, oh, he's a guy. He wears the extra small shirt, and then like he's really small.
Yeah,
right.
No, he was probably just kind of typical kind of guy. Matter of fact, if you saw him walking down the street, you would have no idea that was him. He had put together.
To be fair, Robert, I don't watch horror movies, and I have no idea who you're talking about.
All right, well, fair enough.
We're going to see a picture of him here in a minute.
I'm the same way.
Gary says that out at Remington Park, they should have painted the horses like skeletons and still ran them.
That would have been awesome.
Call it the Apocalypse Run.
That would be great.
They need to do that, and that would be sweet. So.
Or at least just parade them around
like fluorescent paint,
or just parade them
like
around
black
the track.
lights.
You don't want to paint anything with fluorescent paint.
At least anything that's organic.
I believe that's toxic.
It's just horses, Sean. People eat those in other countries.
Is it though?
Oh, it's going to be a wonderful night.
All right.
Isn't
So anyway,
that what beef tartare is? Like horse?
is it? I don't think so.
I'm looking.
I think that's.
Yeah.
I think tartare just means that it's really not cooked.
Steak tartare.
I think
steak
that's
tartare.
I
Let's see
think
if it's
that's
horse.
cooked with
I believe that's
like
still beef.
Steak
with like lime.
tartare is a meat dish made from raw ground minced beef or horse meat,
Okay.
according to the Googles.
Gotcha.
Did you add that on there? Did you add the horse meat part on there?
No, it's really right here. Why would I make
Also,
that up?
additionally, horse meat.
Yeah.
It says or horse meat. It's on Wikipedia. It can't be wrong.
And Sean, and Sean,
Do not.
they
do
do
not.
make. Oh,
Good
they do make
Lord.
non-toxic paint for pets.
See?
Fluorescent.
Yes,
See?
Nice.
Because you got to do it.
I just.
Before we go to the pictures, let's talk a little bit about the write-up in the Oklahoman newspaper this weekend. Sean, you want to scroll through a little bit of that?
Scroll.
Matt Price, who has been writing articles for the Oklahoman about geeky stuff in general, but particularly about the local comic book industry, covered Horror Con, and you can see some of the art that he shared on that thing. But Robert got a write-up here in the paper. It's down kind of near the bottom, but they mentioned. Can you read that?
Here it is.
Sean, can you read it because I can't?
Robert Henry, writer and inker of the comic Bad Candy, and penciler Joe Evans will be showcasing issues of their creation at Oklahoma City Horror Con. Henry is a photographer, artist, Oklahoma native with comic book credits, including Rough Cut comic book series of the 90s.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about the shout out to Rough Cut?
That's a deep cut right there.
Damn.
I mean, not just rough, but it's deep. That's a deep cut.
If you're sitting on those issues, man, you got some rare comics. They're rare.
Exactly. It's
they're
just
not
like
worth
when
anything, but they're rare.
It's just like when they found out that Kang was going to be in Loki, and those initial Kang issues went crazy.
Yeah.
That's the same with Rough Cut right now because it just got mentioned in the Oklahoma.
Yeah.
If you have a rare signed edition or an even more rare unsigned edition,
yes.
Then get that in a poly bag immediately.
I know where several of those are.
Tyler Maine.
Yes, Tyler Maine. I did not see Tyler Maine there though, so I don't know if I just missed him
I don't
or
know
if
who
he was
Tyler Maine is.
He's the guy who plays Sabretooth.
Yeah,
and played Sabretooth in the X-Men.
Yeah, really?
But he was actually there because he played Michael Myers.
Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween remake.
Oh.
Yeah, where he was a much more brutal Michael Myers.
Also starring Danielle Harris.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Oh,
co-star.
Ronnie, what the heck? Ronnie says he's a little bigger than average. I got a picture of Richard Keel crushing my head, and he is very
Jaws,
big.
Right?
That guy.
Yes. He's legitimately huge.
Dude, I saw that guy.
He is no joke huge.
I saw that guy in person, and I just felt for like his bones.
Wilson had him laughing so hard he couldn't look mean in the picture.
True story.
Ronnie is a big guy, and Richard Keel's hands around his head makes Ronnie look puny. Richard Keel was legitimately a huge dude.
Yeah.
And nice.
Ronnie's
like
Paul Bunyan,
super nice
so
dude.
Richard Keel is even bigger than Paul Bunyan.
Exactly. Gary says that Rough Cut is definitely worth something on one branch of the timeline. Are you talking about like maybe in a variant universe?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It went big. It went large.
It went big, and it's still going.
And then had to be pruned. It had to be pruned because it wasn't the way it was supposed to be.
It's still going. We're all still working on that book.
Yes, there you go.
That became big. We all became very big stars. We had movies made of Miraday.
Yeah.
You know.
Shell says, remember when the news station came over and did a story about Rough Cut and interviewed everyone? Yes, that is the moment that I learned that all news is horseshit. Because what they did is they had, for one thing, they said, hey, can we get everyone together and you guys can pretend like it's like a meeting? And it's like, okay, I guess we can do that. We don't have a meeting coming up, but we can pretend like it's a meeting if that's what you want. And so then they
all staged,
recorded us having a meeting,
and then showed it like 3 weeks later,
talking about nothing. And then they came to the comic book shop and they're like, can we get some shots of you putting issues of Rough Cut on the shelf? And it's like, well, there are some issues of Rough Cut on the shelf right now. Yeah, but we would really like to get some shots of you putting Rough Cut on the shelf. Yeah. So that was also, it's like there was nothing that was done there that wasn't 100% staged. And that's the moment that I realized that everything you see on television is staged. It's all bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah. The end.
Which, by the way, if anybody has that video of that news story,
you know, I'll
send it to us.
I would love to see that.
I would have to have my dad if his video player is still working.
Those were VHS days, folks.
To go through his collection of VHS movies to see if
probably not there. Digitized.
But then again,
she has an autographed copy.
Then again, you can.
That's not the rare one, Maxine. I have unautographed copies.
That's very unusual.
We could call the station to see.
You know, we say that, but we did we did actually sell out of those. That first issue actually did sell out through Diamond.
It did.
We did we did max out our print run on the first issue, and we did about 80%, I think, on that second issue.
Didn't we do like 3,000 copies? Was it 3,000?
It was about that.
I think it was 3,000 copies.
We did pretty good.
Yeah.
We got a 1-page ad in Diamond back when that meant something.
Right.
Yeah.
We had
got in, it got us into San Diego as guests,
Yeah.
as actual guests, not
Working professionals.
as
Not
working
only-
professionals. So
Not only that, they gave us a good review. So
we had the Diamond
we
Spotlight.
did get a
if I
good
remember.
review. We sure did.
We got a
the
good
spotlight
review.
and a good review. So there's that. We got a little history, folks. All right. Let us put this to the stream. How about this? Robert, what is this thing?
It's just a sketch werewolf sketch that Joe did. I mean, obviously we were at a horror con, so we made sure we were just kind of playing to the crowd and doing things that people would find interesting. So Joe cranked that out while we were there.
Was this a commission sketch, or is he just doing that for fun?
He just ran for fun. Joe doesn't do a lot of commissions. He just kind of starts knocking stuff out, and then
All right.
as people see it, they buy it. And
Did he
they
do
go for
both
it.
pencils and inks here?
Yes, he did. So
All right.
yeah,
Very nice. Very
Cool.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
I like that.
What is this?
this is from John Carpenter's The Thing. This is a piece that I did, and really got into the detail of it, and really had a lot of fun, and changed the angle, because that was one of the things that I always wish that they had, because it pretty much was just a straight side front view of him, and it was kind of hard to see all the details and stuff, and had to
There's a
kind of
signature.
yeah, and then had to do just a little bit where I had to kind of mess around with it, but I wanted to change the angle, have some fun with it, really kind of make it more three-dimensional instead of just oh, here it is right here, because you only get to see it for just a quick flash anyway in the movie. So it
I've
was
never
kinda
seen
fun.
that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Sean?
I'm gonna have to join Sean on that one.
I haven't watched it yet.
That one is
There you
much
go.
closer to being seminal. The Thing is like one of the best horror movies ever made. Some people say the best.
Yeah.
I need new friends.
Anyway, that is a cool piece, Rob.
Oh well, thank you.
That's a good
You
one.
did both the pencils and inks on this, correct?
Yes, I did. Yes.
What size is this?
9x12. 9x12.
And this was not a commission piece, or it was?
Was
a
not.
commission
No,
piece?
I did it as kind of a warm up for the con itself. I knocked out a few pieces that we're thinking, okay, it's a horror con. Let's put some stuff out there.
Would
that
you have
people may
sold
be
this?
interested. Yeah, I would have sold it.
I
So.
mean, it seems like that would be the crowd for that.
Yeah, I think so. And I had a lot of lookers.
I'm here.
but-
I got to take care of something real quick.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, but nobody pulled the trigger on it. We had a lot
All
of people looked at it. Freddie, he did actually sell Joe's rendition there.
This is Joe's.
Yep. So he had a lot of fun with that, and that piece did actually sell to a big Freddie fanatic that was going to put it up in his kitchen, I believe. So of all places, he has. Yeah, this was a guy that.
This
was
is a
dedicated.
kitchen piece.
Yeah, he was telling us about this piece that he has that's like the Last Supper, but it's like it's all horror
It's
icons.
got good detail on it, man.
Yeah, he had a lot of fun.
Holds
with
together
that,
close
so,
up.
Yeah, so yeah, Joe knocked it out of the park. He did
A
real
lot of
good.
good
And like I
snatch
said,
there.
yeah, so
Cool. There is the guy
Is
that you
the-
were talking about.
yes, there's the
Say
there's
his
the
name.
sketch.
What's his
Bill
name?
Mosley.
Bill Murray?
Mosley.
Bill Mosley.
Bill Murray.
Sorry. I didn't mean
Yeah.
to.
Holy
Mosley?
cats.
Mosley, yeah.
I'm looking him up right now.
Go
Three-
for it.
3 from Hell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This
He
is
doesn't look like that guy at all. That's movie guy, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the movie version.
right with the
there.
beard and the long hair. You say
Yeah.
he was high and tight with his stuff. And did
Yeah.
he have a beard or not?
Yeah, but it wasn't near as like.
When it
Actually, no,
was
I think
grown
he had
out?
actually shaved most of it. He had some facial hair, but I believe he had shaved out. I think he had the mustache maybe, but he didn't have the big
Cool.
full beard. like
According to this Wikipedia page, he is 6 foot tall, Rob.
that. Okay, well, he might
I mean,
be
that's
6 foot
not-
tall. But
Oh.
no, but I'm saying he's just not a big guy. Is what I'm
Is he
not imposing.
69 years old?
Yeah, he's old. He's an older
He's-
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
another reason why when you look at that, that's what I mean. He may have been 6 foot in his prime. He's probably more like 5'10" or 5'9" now, but maybe not. He might be.
oh, before we go on here, I missed a comment. Let's go back to this
Mm-hmm.
right here. Gary says, that Thing piece is honestly one of the best things I've seen Rob do in a long time.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Gary.
So Gary likes that.
Yeah. So
And he
it was a
says,
lot of
says Bill Murray from the new Ghostbusters.
There you go.
So anyway, that was a piece that was commissioned, but the dude didn't come pick it up.
Yeah, he didn't pick it up. So
Dude, you should take out money first.
Well, yeah.
Or half.
Yeah, well, he's a dude that was working there, so you're thinking, okay, this won't be a problem, And then the dude he literally said, "Oh, something happened with my bank," and then it was like,
happened with my bank.
And it's well, I saw
his
you
dog
eating...
ate his bank or something.
Right.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Right.
So.
That's weak sauce.
It was. So yeah.
Do you know his real name? We can call him out right here.
We can.
So,
I'll call him out.
I don't know his name, so no.
What's going on here, buddy?
This was a thing where they had this Chucky thing, and there was this little girl behind there that was its arms, and so it'd like wait for you to kind of walk close, and the arms would come out and grab people and stuff.
Right.
So it was fun.
I would punch that thing right in the face.
I was thinking the same thing.
What is this here?
Distance.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't even. I mean, it seems like you'd be stacked on everyone.
Yeah, I don't really know
right?
what that. Yeah, I'm thinking that was just kind of there. Maybe at one point they also had a game there. They had several things set up where they would allow kids to run around with these little Nerf gun things and shoot these evil clowns, and Chucky was maybe one of them as well. I guess so.
I like evil clowns.
Yeah. So,
what's going on here?
This is Joe at one of the vendor booths, and Joe, that baby's eyes glow green. And the guy had it there, and it kept staring at Joe, and so Joe was just
Joe had to go there.
Yeah,
go take care of that.
Yeah, exactly. So they brought him over there, put him in the electric chair, and he got actually shocked. It actually gives you a little shock. So
wow.
Yeah, so he got shocked so he got shocked with a dead baby in his hand.
Do people know that it shocks you?
Yeah, it's just a little, I guess. But he said he actually got shocked by it. So.
Ronnie says, yes, Robert, the snake piece is very cool.
Okay.
What Ronnie is calling the snake piece.
All right.
That is a very... Never mind.
Dude, if it's not Lord of the Rings, you got to give him a break there.
Okay. Snake pieces it is.
It's either Lord of the Rings or it's snake pieces. Oh, I like this dude.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. That was one little shots that I snapped while the guy was walking by the booth.
Triangle head?
Yeah, or pyramid head. So
from what?
Silent Hill.
A video game. Yep.
Yeah, video game and movie. So yeah, that guy's a real jerk in the game. So
he's not a happy guy.
No, he's not. He has a big old giant sword and makes life
I mean,
miserable.
this guy went all for it. I mean, he's got no shirt on, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's full on.
Yeah, it takes some guts.
That's a commitment to the character there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what is this?
This was our table set up. There's Joe, and then Toxigotis Ocean, and she dressed up as a good guy doll that was from back in the and did all her makeup and everything else. And she was it was a lot of fun. So she cosplays at these events usually, and so obviously horror was the way to go with this show. So it was a lot of fun. So
she's got a stand up here.
Yeah, exactly. They're promoting her stuff that she has, and so it works well for both of us because it gives us a little bit of eye candy to help bring people to the table, and she gets to promote her stuff. So it's fun.
This is Joe.
Yeah, this is Joe. Yeah.
What does Joe do on the comic?
I thought Joe was the eye candy.
In some people's
that's
book,
what
that
Joe
may
will
be the
say.
Case. Yes.
Joe would agree with that, Scott.
He'd be so mad at me saying that. He would smile and kind of laugh, and inside be like, "I hate that white guy."
Oh wow. So Robert, what is it that Joe does on the book?
He is
on
the
Bad
penciler.
Candy.
He is the penciler of the book. So,
okay.
And like I said, and we kind of go over the things. I mean, I do the writing and stuff, but I'll bounce ideas off of him as we're kind of creating. So he sort of helps in the creation of it, but it's more like I write it and then I say, "What do you think?" And then we'll kind of bounce back and forth and see how the story is gelling. So
Let's see what you got down here. There is a sketch.
Yeah, that's actually the cover. The uncolored version on the left is the pen and ink version of the issue number 1 cover.
Okay.
So, and then the one beside it is the back cover as well. And then
is that Joe's work right there?
Probably. I can't quite see all that. Yeah, but yeah, the page right there is his redo on page 18 for issue number 3 that he did.
Okay, right.
And there's the Batman Who Laughs sketch there right at the front. That almost moved 3 or 4 times, but nobody ever pulled the trigger on it. So Bad Candy posters, and we sold out.
What are these doodad? I don't think I've seen these.
The little orange things.
Are these
those
keychains?
keychains? Yes, keychains.
Where did you get keychains, dude?
Believe it or not, Joe's sister made them, so they are really quite cool. That she takes this resin thing, and you can go ahead and put in your own designs, and then it hardens real, and you create this setup. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
So so we had those going there, which was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, a lot of swag going.
I like this piece here.
Mhm.
This is this a print?
Yes, that was one of the prints that we had. We had a handful of prints, and we sold some prints over the weekend.
And
so
then
it
some
was nice.
comics.
Yep, and then the comics, the usual things, some more alternate covers here and there, and we had all that stuff going. So it was a lot of fun. And then
you got a nice little table skirt here, right?
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Not too shabby.
Mm-hmm.
How many issues is there of Bad Candy?
Well, there are two main issues of the main story, 1 and 2. Then there's a Tasty Treats anthology, and then there is a limited amount of number 3s, but we're going to press on those again because unfortunately the printer printed the wrong interior in the number 3s, the first batch.
So those are also collector's items, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I mean,
so I was like, hey, I've got number 3 on the outside, but it's got Tasty Treats on the inside, so it's a bit silly.
What's the scoop on this one?
Well, that was obviously Jason Voorhees. Joe.
I've never heard of that character. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and believe it or not,
I'm giving Sean a headache.
Yeah,
what's that character from?
Friday the 13th.
Is this from Star Wars? Or?
Star Wars, yeah, that's the lightsaber in his hand. Yeah. So, but no, that one, believe it or not, as soon as he finished that, man, it had not. We put it in the portfolio, and it was gone within 10 minutes. It was crazy.
I think that's a good piece, man.
Yeah,
that is a good piece.
I like the rendering here. He did good rendering.
Yep. So. Yeah, he enjoyed doing that, and like I said, and then somebody saw him working on it the day before, and then they came back the second day.
Or?
He did whenever we put it in the case. Yeah, that was actually taken just a little bit before we were about to put it up.
I think that's our last. I believe that's our last deal there.
Yeah. So. But we had a good time though. We got to do a lot of work, and you get to meet a lot of fans. You get to talk about your story, and a lot of people like the idea of it. And again, it plays off a lot of Halloween themes and things of that nature. And so, we were very much in our element. It was a lot of fun, and and I'll be very much looking forward to doing it again next year. So.
Gary says a working electric chair. How fun! He wants in on that. I have some uses for that. I can think of things to do. Ronnie wants to know, Robert, what do prints go for? What, Sean? Ronnie says, Robert, what do prints go for, or is it bad form to ask? It's never bad. It's never bad form to ask an artist how much is
$30, Ronnie. They're $30 each.
It's never.
Yeah, most of those were actually going for 10 to 20 that we had there at the con itself.
$30.
That's a pretty
Ronnie.
good. Yeah. That's a pretty good price for prints. So.
Yeah, it was pretty good, and it was only because we managed to get a pretty good deal on them when we did them. So but we probably need to, and we actually did run out of several while we were at the show, and so we'll probably be starting up a new print of stuff, and may not be so cheap this next time. So
$30, Ronnie.
You're lucky in that if Disney has representatives there at the convention, they can't come by and tell you to take your damn prints down.
Yeah, this is definitely true. Well,
because if you happen to do a piece of Luke Skywalker or Wolverine or something like that, and you're selling prints, Disney will come along and tell you need to remove those, or your next visit's going to be from our lawyers.
Yeah, actually, the funny thing about that,
I've witnessed it.
Yes, it's absolutely true, and
I've heard it so much.
Yeah, there are some cons now that are actually starting up, and that they only want you to bring your own material. And they don't want you to bring. They literally will say, "Hey, are you doing this?" And if you're doing this,
I'm sure that Disney's leaning on them too.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of there's a show in Dallas that you have to sign a thing saying, "Hey, we're not going to bring any unauthorized prints of major characters and things like that." Now you can do a sketch of those characters because then it's an original piece of artwork, and so there's kind of a little bit of a loophole there. But as far as just but they do need to crack down on it. I've seen plenty of people who are like, "Oh, well, that's just a still of Heath Ledger from Dark Knight," and then they just went in Photoshop and added some flourishes to it, and now they're selling it for a bunch of money, and I think that's kind of just I don't know, it's something a little wrong with that, I think so.
I actually saw at a convention. I actually saw somebody who was selling somebody else's artwork who was there at the
Oh wow, that is.
And they were using that person's artwork
amazing.
as their advertisements on their banners and stuff at the show.
Wow.
So yeah.
And
What happened to that person?
Oh, well, I was actually the person who pointed it out. I said, "Did you know that your artwork is over here on this guy's banner, and that they've got this, that, and the other thing that's your stuff?" He goes, "What? Show me." Walked over there, and he stood from a distance and looked. He's like, and he walks back over to his table, and he pulls out this sheet of paper. He goes, "I have to be prepared with this," and it was a legal sheet. And he walked over there.
Wait a minute, who was the artist?
Scott Harbin. In fact, I shared a link to. He was at one of the. There were shows that were going on here this weekend too, down here in Texas, and RetroCon. He was at RetroCon this weekend, but this happened a couple of years back at Dallas Fan.
That's incredible.
Fan Expo.
That's incredible.
In fact, I think you were there at that one at that particular show.
Oh yeah, really? Okay, yeah.
I think you were at that show. Yeah, a few years ago. But yeah, he had to take a sheet over there and said it was illegal, and that guy took the picture, took the banner stuff down.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that preparation there. Ronnie says that those prints sound too cheap.
Yeah, they probably were.
You know what, Ronnie? He would be okay to sell those too cheap prints to you.
Yeah.
A little more.
There you go.
Put your money where your mouth is.
I mean,
And Michelle is playing Grammar Cop.
Yep.
Gary says that he understands Disney's take on that. And look,
I do too.
I get it too. Particularly since, I don't want people stealing. I don't want people doing exactly what Walt just talked about. I don't want them stealing my stuff and then making money off of it. I got mad the other day because someone stole one of my pieces and made an Instagram post about it without crediting me.
Yes.
There was no credit.
Yeah.
There was no
I had
link
somebody
to
do
me
that to
or
me,
anything
too.
like that. It's like that's not
No.
acceptable, man. I'm
So-
not here to produce your content.
I've had
What you
people
do is
make-
you
It
block
would be
them.
one step worse if people were trying to make money off of my work without crediting me or without giving me my money.
Exactly.
I've had an Italian company steal our logo for Oklahoma Bowl and try to make dice out of it. And
Oh wow.
I've
Really?
got onto them. Yeah, that was years ago.
Oh my God. I did have someone grab one of my pieces and try to sell it on Alibaba
Yeah.
to do t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's perfectly fine if they send you some money, right?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
No,
For me,
they
yeah.
need to get my permission to do that, which
And
they're
send
probably
you
not
money.
going to get. And if they are going to make money off of it, yeah, you're damn right. I not only need my cut, we need to decide how much my cut's going to be.
Exactly. I mean, they can do it as long as they send me money that I want, the amount of money that I want.
Yeah, they don't determine how much I get.
Yeah.
I do. Brian James, who came over and stuck around for a little while last night and talked a little bit about corn,
Of course.
among other things. Maybe
He's
a little
like-
politics.
He's like a dog that sheds, right? You can't get all the hair off. I mean, he just sticks around.
It's not exactly the way that I would have put that. He brought us snacks.
Dude!
He brought us snacks.
Are we talking corn as in the rock band corn or corn that you
No,
No, we're talking about
Yeah.
the
Look-
Cobb variety.
Yeah,
Let
the
me give
grain.
you some things about Mr. Brian James. Brian James used to, at like Dirty Santa, would buy a big giant can of corn and tape a $20 bill underneath it. And people would open it up and be mad they got a big giant can of corn. And he'd never say nothing. They finally noticed, oh, I got $20, you know. Or he was very famous for giving cereal for Christmas presents. Cereal. Got you a box of Captain Crunch. Merry Christmas.
I like it.
Yeah, well.
He'd be great at a white elephant party.
He would.
He would
was.
be great at that. He would be great at that.
Why's he gotta be white?
Ronnie says he works.
Because that's what it's called.
Ronnie says he works at OU. Wow. Ronnie says he works at OU. Michelle, I am a redneck.
There you go.
Gary says I had someone try to sell my body. Surprisingly, no takers. So no harm, no foul.
I didn't have my wallet, otherwise I'd been all in.
Wow, you were. Someone stole your bank or something like that.
I had money in the bank, but something happened.
You had bank issues,
Yeah,
like that guy who was
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
buy something from Rob.
I'd call that guy out.
Let's see, Robert.
Yes.
Tell us, before we get out of this segment, please, tell us a little bit about the story of Bad Candy. Where did that come from?
The story actually was the character originated from there's an online art challenge called Inktober, and they do it every year, and they usually, and first couple of years I would try to do it, and I'd get through 10 or 14, and then finally then for a couple of years I actually got everything done. Well, one of them they usually give you prompts, but I just one day decided, early on, it's going to be enough for me just to get a piece done. I'm not going to worry about the prompt. So I just thought, well, I want to do a pumpkin monster. So I had fun with it, created something. And then as Joe and I were sitting around, we bandied about with this thing, came up with the idea of Bad Candy for a name. And from there, I just really started working on a story and an idea. And I just wanted to take a lot of the things that I loved, particularly 80s horror cinema, work from kind of that way. And then
What?
Wow.
And just like that, you're
Really?
going to have to find out later by buying Bad Candy #1. If you want to know more about this fantastic horror epic, that's what you have to do.
Oh, here he's
there
going.
he is again.
I've already sold your book, Rob. Don't
All
worry.
right, cool.
Don't say
All right.
another
It's
thing.
all done.
All right,
It's
good.
done.
It's all taken care of.
Nice to know. I can go away. My friend's got my back.
That was awesome.
Just buy the book and get it on rankingstudios.com if
Yes,
you want to know
Ranking
more.
Yep. Hey,
Rob,
He's
you
got-
wanna,
I think
he's
I've
got a
seen it on
sketch, too.
Amazon too.
Rob, you want to pick up where you left off there? man?
Basically, from there, I just put together this thing that I loved of 80s horror comics. And then, like I said, me and Joe would bounce off ideas about, okay, what'd be fun to draw, what we enjoy doing. Went from there. Basically, the gist of the story is there's this sort of minor deity protector spirit, if you will, that is bound to this land. And it helps you, and there's sort of a karmic balance that happens as long as you do what you're supposed to do. And you have to give an offering every day in the month of October, the harvest month. And the family that lives there, they do what they're supposed to do until something enters their life that does not allow them to do that. And then Bad Candy awakens, and he's in the kind of the vein of an old god. Worship me and everything's going to be great, but you don't do what you're supposed to do, and there's wrath, and the offering becomes sacrifice. And
He's kind of a dick.
he is, yeah. Like I said, that's the way it happens. So, but anyway, so long story short, that's kind of the gist of the first story arc. We had Tasty Treats is a thing where we kind of get to play in that playground, work with the mythos, tell other stories from other times in there, and also allow me to let my friends play around in the playground as well, as we have several guest artists, some of who are in this podcast, working on the upcoming issue of Tasty Treats, which we hope to launch the Kickstarter for relatively soon. So,
All right. Well, my next question is: do you want to talk about what's coming up next?
well,
You kind of just did.
yeah, I basically just got it.
So apparently you do want to talk about what's coming up next. You are going to be doing issue number 3, correct? Of
Yes,
Bad
it was
Candy out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4-issue limited series.
Yep.
You're on issue 3. 3 is completely done, correct?
Yes, 3. Well, I got to go back and do a little bit of lettering, but we're doing that, and then I'm just repackaging it.
I mean, you're just cleaning stuff up, though.
Yeah,
I mean, you
basically,
actually
yeah.
printed 3 to start with.
Yeah, we printed number 3, but there were a couple of things we weren't happy with, and so we just because we had COVID, which essentially shut down all these cons for a year and a half. They're all firing back up, and cons is kind of how we do it, being small press. So we just thought, well, now we'll take the opportunity and we'll go ahead and clean up some of the things we didn't like or some of the things we were unhappy with, and we've done that, and now that's why I'm going back and kind of removing, moving the lettering around and this and that, and because we ended up adding a page or two, and it's all set and ready to go, and then we'll be doing the Kickstarter for that and for the Tasty Treats in tandem, and then hopefully issue
4 will be out soon. After that, as they're doing stuff still. I can't speak for Rob. He is frozen once again in time.
Yes,
Kang has got Rob. It's okay, Rob. I got your back. after they do issue 3, they got the Tasty Treats, Tales of Bad Candy, and then they're going to do Bad Candy number 4 and wrap up the whole epic storyline that you can find issue number 1 at rankingstudios.com or coming to a con near you. How's that?
Okay.
And if you're out there,
I
know Robert for sure is
somewhat
going
true.
to Kansas City Con that's up in like August 14th or 15th weekend, and I know him and Joe's going to be there promoting Bad Candy and doing all the things they need to do.
Gary thinks he was getting ready to drop an F-bomb.
Well, he was, but we didn't want to tell anybody that, so we're just trying to keep it cool. You can't trust him anyways, so you just do what you got to do.
You can't trust him?
Well, I mean, not with the F-bomb. I mean, like
How
Robert.
long have you known Robert, Scott?
A lot enough to know that he drops a lot of F-bombs. that's why I'm concerned here.
So I would say that Limp Bizkit's Hot Dog is probably his favorite song.
It might be.
You think so?
Could be.
If any of you don't know, we can't play it, because of copyright issues. We
cannot.
play
we
it.
can't do anything.
We
We got
play
a
it
copyright
because of
strike because we did Silverhawks the other day.
That's stupid. Anyway,
We played a little Silverhawks and the lords of YouTube smote us.
you can't do that.
We got in trouble for that?
Yes.
Yep.
We got a warning.
Ooh.
Yep.
So we had to take that episode down or edit
Not
it?
a warning, but they said that they threatened us with demonetization.
I don't really know what that word even means, but that's okay.
Because we're not making
Newsflash,
anything,
we
so-
are not monetized. Monetized means that they are paying us for ads that they're running on the show. Right now, because we don't have 1,000 people that are following us, we are not monetized. So threatening us with demonetization is not a threat.
So we're not scared of you, YouTube.
I
Bring
mean,
it on.
I
At
say,
least not yet.
I mean, monetize us, and I'll be glad to be threatened by demonetization. You think Robert's coming back, or is
I would say he's lost to the winds of time.
we lost into the void?
I think Bad Candy got him. We've already established that Bad Candy's
kind of a
jerk.
slap on the
Yeah.
wrist.
I think Robert right now is getting a stern talking to by his
in
mother.
that episode,
She's
I
heard him cuss.
I excised that Silverhawks intro so that it wouldn't be an issue with them.
That's
So
crazy.
that is no longer in there. That's how I dealt with that.
Not even the plug about saying you can find this on wbshop.com
Right.
and buy
I
it
mean,
for yourself.
let's be
was enough.
honest. Let's be honest. They would have gotten more benefit from us talking about Silverhawks and sending people to go look at it than we got by playing their damn intro.
Yep.
Let's
That's
be
pretty
honest.
fair.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next thing. I don't know what we're going to do with this. Let's see. Let's do
the next thing?
let's do this. Isn't this the last? Isn't this what happened the last time we had Rob on?
Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
like us.
Let's do show and tell. Since we're looking at doing art, since we have 4 artists here, we had 5.
We did.
Let's share some stuff. Let's share some things. Oh, wait a minute. What?
Is he
hang
back?
on.
I'm back. Yes.
How about this? What's going on there?
I think my router is going out. I've been having issues here lately.
Well,
so if I
Well, if Ronnie buys some prints, you could
I tell
like,
you, or some
Yeah.
T-shirts. Here we
Yes.
go. Go over. Here we go. Here,
Okay.
here it is. Nope. Here it is. Go right there. Buy some T-shirts,
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
and you can help us out. Or you can go to rankingstudios.com and buy some of Robert's prints
Yes.
so that he can get a new router, so that we
Yes.
don't have to lose Rob in the
Well,
middle
yeah,
of
well,
the,
I recently found out that my internet I'm paying for is better than my router, and so my router cannot keep up with. And so I'm basically, and it's
That's
funny how
for real, man.
you get
Robert,
hoodwinked.
let's tell the real story. You got in trouble for cussing, didn't you?
Did I cuss?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's why you cut out the first time. We censored you.
Oh, I see. I see,
Gary
yes.
said you were about to drop an F-bomb.
Yes,
Gary
yes.
also says that Rob's on the
Telstar.
Rob's on that. I almost can't get this out. Rob's on that Telstar internet reserved for people in the mountains or preppers.
Are you eating some free
Pretty good, Gary. Pretty good, Gary.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. All right, let's see. I'm going to bring this up here. We're gonna do a little show and tell, folks. If I can get my
I'm gonna
stuff
try.
together.
Okay, here we go.
I'm bringing it up now. Here we go.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to share.
This is
Right
good
here.
TV right here.
Did we? So
You're missing the Olympics because of this. Sorry,
You guys are
folks.
supposed to. You know what? This, even us not talking, is an improvement over the Olympics. No Simone Biles. She's out. She's done. Our basketball team can't win a damn game.
Hey, but-
you know, I mean, sure, watch the Olympics and be disappointed, or hang out with us.
Hey,
And
since
see
you're
some
bringing
cool
up the
art.
Olympics, though, I will like to give a shout out for the Philippines for getting their first ever gold medal, and of
For-
all things,
for
women's
Taekwondo or
powerlifting.
something, or okay, right.
Women's powerlifting,
Yeah.
and I watched that, and I was just like, I was just as excited as the lady was who won. So, shout out to the Philippines for their first.
Who is it? Who is it? Manny Pacquiao, who said, that we're all really proud of you and stuff. And I mean, it's definitely a big deal. Yeah, that's a better story than a lot of the stuff that has been going on at the Olympics. That's for sure.
Hey, my swimmers are doing great.
Swimmers are doing great, surprisingly well, but also kind of that's what they do.
They swim.
They swim, but they swim fast. Okay, so Scott, tell us what we're looking at here.
So I was in. So for the Super Show card, the pro wrestling card game that we've done artwork before, the character Scott Prime, played by me, the Scott Prime. If I meant real Scott Prime on Twitter, they now have a new policy that once a character no longer is in print, what they mean is when they sell out, they put a new face card on the character. So therefore, the character has a new front card, so they can sell it. And I mean, it's a pretty smart move because really, if you think about it, you're going to get collectors go crazy for this stuff, right? The collectors are going to want all copies, and here's a variant card of this, there's a variant card of that. So it was time to reprint Scott Prime, and I wanted him to stay in print. They were actually, I think, I did some little tiny bitty card art of like a sketch, and they showcased that because my character got depowered.
These are these are these 1-to-1 sketches you're talking about? Like it's a card and you draw on the card? Is
on
that
the
what you're
little
talking
card,
about?
right? Yeah, it was a blank card. I did a little sketch for it. They kind of popped the art in there.
Yeah.
They announced that my character got depowered. He's not as powerful as he used to be. He was deemed too powerful. And of course, I'm like,
Really?
no matter what, Scott Prime's always
Dude, I would tell
powerful.
everyone that.
Right. No, I told
They
them.
had
I was
to,
like,
they had to
you
change
guys
it
had
because
to
that was too powerful.
Yeah, I tell them all the time that you guys are wusses. Anyways, so they changed.
Did you say
what
that the man was that Vince McMahon was keeping you down?
Exactly. Steve Riss was keeping me down. So they changed and depowered Scott Prime, and then they wanted to actually reprint and do a new face card of him. And they were gonna, as a placeholder at least, or maybe what they were gonna go through with was a little sketch card I did for Steve Risk and sold to him. I said, if I can, I would like to do the art for my own character because I think that'd be really cool. And then I actually asked Dirk and Sean if maybe we could turn this into like a ranking project where I do the pencils, Sean does the inks, and Dirk does the colors. And therefore, this is what we did. So this is kind of a Ranking Studios kind of collaboration. I was told that I was allowed to put Ranking Studios as the credits since we did this group project. And this is, I guess, the pencils that I didn't know you even had. So it's kind of cool.
It's in this aspect ratio, and you're going to see why here in just a moment. But that is the full piece there. So when you're doing these projects, the scope of the card is going to be landscape, right?
Right.
And then you position the character right where he's going to be, because there's going to be like some graphics and stuff over in
Correct.
this area and stuff, just so people know kind of what we're looking at. All right. So then you did those pencils, and then you handed it off to Sean, who did this.
I did the inks.
Sean, you want to talk a little bit about inking here on this?
One of your layers is off.
That's okay.
All right.
Anyway.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know why it's saved like this, but there's pencils on this as well. Otherwise, I would have dropped that. But go ahead, please talk about your inks.
Well, once I had Scott's pencil, what I did was you never go cold. You never start a project cold. And what I did was I printed out the pencils on a piece of cardstock, and actually transitioned the pencils to a blue line so that I could ink over it and just kind of get warmed up before I did the actual inks. And then with the ink, what a lot of people believe, what a lot of people suggest, is that ink is nothing but tracing over another illustrator's pencils, and that's not true. What an inker does is not only bring out the pencil's contrast and so on of the original pencils, but you also want to add your own little flair to it. And so that's what I try to do. I try to add my own little take on Scott's pencils, adding a little extra detail here and there, maybe taking away a little bit if I felt that it was a little too much or a little too heavy on the pencil work in some areas that detracted from other areas that I thought would be more special. As for the belt, I actually went into I use an art program called Corel Draw, and I actually built the graphics for the belt so that they would come out nice and clean, sharp, and ready for production. I don't know why that came over like that though. That's weird. The arm should be in front of the belt. I know it was at some point, but
It is. You'll see it in the next one.
yeah. So that's
Yeah,
how I
realizing that this was I probably snapped this picture before we even had the final version of this thing.
Oh, that might. Oh, yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's what all I did there.
So there's the. See, I mean, you didn't even ink the.
Oh, that's
pencil.
right. I didn't even have the knee pads there, dude.
Yep. So again, same aspect ratio as this one right here, but now you've got it inked. So the next step was, it was handed off to me, and I did the colors on that. And
Fabulous.
so what I did is imported this into Clip Studio Paint Pro, and went through a process of I appropriated that background and posterized it, and then colored it so that I could control everything about that background there and make it into the color and into the tone and all what I wanted. And then I thought that I saved the well, maybe I did. I may have done the deal where you record the process so you see every step what I did, but obviously I'm not going to play that right now. But now you can see kind of how all of this comes out, and again, this is a case where a lot of this sort of stuff is up to my interpretation as the colorist here. I have to check back with the gang, both Sean and Scott, to see kind of what they intended. Like, for example, and this is actually not the final version on this. I changed these right here because Sean told me that these were supposed to be diamonds or something, so I kind of colored them blue, and then I also made them kind of shiny and stuff. So like I said, this is not the final version. Also, this is the Sean told me. I interpreted these as holes, and he said those are like buttons. So
Snaps.
I had to, those are snaps, and I didn't realize. I guess I've never seen a real wrestling belt or paid any attention to the way they're secured. So that was, look, it's my bad. But that's why I'm lucky that I can talk instantly to either Sean or Scott to get the information on this stuff. And so anyway, I had to redo this as well. So, I captured this so I could share it with those two and go, is there anything that I need to do to improve this? My process is to do the flats. I'll go through this quickly, I promise. So I do the flats, which is just the base color, like if not being colored anything. And then after that, I do the shadows, like this area right here. I'll do the shadows. And the shadows are done all the same color. So the shadows underneath here and all this sort of stuff, all shadows. Then I will do the light. And in this case, I had the light coming in from behind him, up in here and behind him, which is why there's no shadow on the wall here, because the light's actually behind him instead of in front of him. And what that does is I will paint in the light here on this side of his. You'll notice there's a lot more light and stuff here because it's coming down this direction. You got a little light here, but like you don't have any light here. And then I do the ambient occlusion, which is like this right here and this area here and a little bit on his glove and then along the side. So that's what I do to do the stuff, do the coloring on this.
It's the same process I use, by the way.
I picked that color up. I picked that color process up from Kurt Russell, not the guy from Escape from New York, but the colorist Kurt Russell.
From the guy from Big Trouble, Little China?
Not that guy. Not that guy.
Not that
but
guy.
the colorist Kurt Russell, who does a lot of interiors and color stuff, and
that guy's incredible.
He's really an amazing colorist, and
I
took a course. I had an idea on how to do color, and I took a course on that he offers on, I want to say Skillshare. That could be wrong. And just looking up Kurt Russell, spelled just like Kurt Russell, and say colorist.
His YouTube channel is called Coloring with Kurt.
Yeah.
So
which is also a wealth of great information. But anyway, that process is exactly what I picked up through him, and it was really it really took my stuff to the next level.
I thought Robert was being quiet. He left, huh?
I guess he's just done. No, he's just not here, man. Ronnie says that I love seeing the play-by-play on the video. Very, very nice, guys. Love it.
Thank you.
Gary says, when I see stuff from you guys, I get so angry at myself for not being able to create like this.
As well, you should.
I
you
feel
probably
that
do
way.
things that I wish I could do.
Exactly. I feel that way when I see other artists and stuff. That's kind of people make me mad. Gary says that looks freaking great. And he says, Dirk, you are a really talented colorist. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Gary reads a lot of comics. I appreciate him saying that. That's very nice. This is not the final version of the thing. This is what was the impetus of this, Scott?
They wanted some unification, like for the other card backs. They did a lot of the wrestler cards have like a spotlight with the character there,
right?
I guess to stand out and stuff, with the stats and everything. So. Both of these went to Steve Riss, so we'll see, what ends up getting published and stuff. But if you like this and you want some copies of it and you want to support the ranking, guys, when this thing comes out, we're going to let you know, and you can go speak with your dollars. And that helps us,
tell them where
get
to,
maybe more
tell
jobs.
Them where
and stuff
to find
like
it. Tell them where to find it.
It's obviously not published yet. But
tell them where they can find it.
Oh, it's going to be at supershowthegame.com. I believe that's the right site. I guess I should look that up right now just to be sure. Yeah, supershowthegame.com. That's where you can get all the Super Show cards and different competitors and stuff like that. I mean, we've all done artwork for them.
I haven't yet.
Hooper. Well, you got to get a hold of Steve. I know Hooper just had a foil card that was just published with his artwork featured on it.
I was gonna.
Did I ruin that for you?
No, that's in the living room. I ruined it for myself by not picking that up and bringing it in.
Yeah, it's his artwork.
I'll do it next week.
It's in foil. I mean, he's the only one of us that got a foil printing, so that's really cool for
that was cool.
Collector items and stuff.
It looks super neat. I appreciate Steve doing that.
So
that was nice of him.
We're getting a little gig here and there from Steve on that.
I just saw something else that it seems like there's some other stuff that I colored, and I'm still kind of wondering when that stuff comes out. Like the couple.
Those have been published. I thought I've talked about that. Maybe I haven't on here. Maybe I should. I'll next show or whatever. We'll talk about the Long Paw connection. I'm sorry.
Let's show it. I mean, let's
it's on their website.
Let's just say that I'm not, I'm not getting wealthy doing these, but it would be fun to show them.
I for some reason I thought we talked about it, but we might not have. I just did 5 commissions for Steve for he had blank cards made with actual stats of the characters, so you would just draw right on to the card itself, and then you would have that ready to go.
Sean,
I'll try
to share your page here in just a minute. I'm going to go to Walt's thing next. But if you want to,
I'll be right back. I'm going to go get those card arts just to show you kind of what those are, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, we're going to go to Walt's thing here. How about this? Well, dude, he doesn't have to back out of the whole show. Good Lord. Tell us.
I can do whatever I want. You gave me rights now.
God, that was a mistake.
I'm listening.
All right.
All right. So this is the latest piece that I've worked on. So this is a commission piece of a former coworker and friend.
Man, can you pull in on that a little bit? Give us a little.
That's as big as I can get it.
All right, that's fine. No, that's fine.
Yeah, that's as big as it'll get.
That's okay. Just asking.
It's actually a 5x7, so it's only 5x7 inches.
Really?
Yeah, it's only 5x7 inches. But this is a watercolor that I've been working on off and on for a few weeks, and the last week I decided I was just going to get on it. And
Michelle says that is beautiful, Walt.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree more.
And I just decided I was just going to get on it and get it to the client right away. So worked off of a photograph. But
Gary says, Walt, nice work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, yeah, Bella's the name of the horse. Thank you.
You got the light right. You can see the highlights there and stuff. You're working in watercolor, right?
Watercolor.
Dude, watercolor is stupidly.
Yeah, and it's
Walt, this is beautiful,
difficult.
by the way. I saw this on your Facebook page, and this is really beautiful.
Let's not underscore the fact that let's not forget to underscore the fact that this is watercolors in real life. This is real life, no diggity, actual watercolors by hand.
Yeah. And it's different compared to
that says I love how that came out.
Thank you. And it's different compared to doing everything else, because even working on the digital side, I have to think opposite. So with watercolor, you start off light. You don't start off with your dark colors. You start off light. So it takes a lot of work. So you start off with you do your background first, and you start off with the lightest color that you see in whatever image that you're working with, and then you work your way up from there. Whereas whenever I'm doing my digital work, I start the opposite. I start with the most darkest color that I think of, and I work from dark
backwards
to light, work backwards. So, but yeah, this is the final piece. This is the end work of what I've been working on for the last few weeks.
Most of the time when I see watercolor stuff, it's all real. It's like pastel-like, and usually, has washy areas, and it's real light. And, anyway, most watercolor pieces, they don't look like this.
Well, I've got more if you'd like to see some more.
I mean, you've really got something different going on here.
So here's a fun one here, and this is collector card size, by the way. Just want you to know.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
That's awesome,
this is 2.5 by 3.5 originally, and I did this on a lunch break when I was employed.
Is this from Silverhawks or?
No.
I thought that was a legit question, and I was going to have Sean punch you.
I'm going to pretend
but-
like I don't know what anything is today.
But with this blown up, you can see how the detail is lost when it's blown up. So
Right,
and
but
it's,
you say that it's it's card size.
it's in fact, let's see. I know I have it here somewhere on this table. That's how small it is, y'all. I can't find it.
That's okay, man. What- do you have
Anyway,
any-
oh, here it is. Here it is, right here. This is the original piece.
Nice.
There it is.
So it's just trading card size.
It's trading card size. You can
That's
you
really
can
nice.
actually buy these online, and in some art stores you can actually buy these blank cards.
That's cool, man.
So
Do you have
there's.
anything else you want to share there?
Oh, I've got a bunch more here. Self-portrait. This is,
Right. I
this
remember
is,
that as an avatar.
my former dog, rest her soul, Heidelberg, Heidi for short. This is
Also a
this,
great piece.
This is a painting that took me 4 years to do, and I say 4 years because I drew the sketch and then I was scared to paint it,
Mhm.
and it sat around for 4
That
years
was
until
a
I
subject
decided
that I
to paint
wanted
it.
to. Yeah, that was a
So-
subject that I wanted to talk about with you guys. I think I talked to you about it after one deal.
Yeah,
Like after one show, I asked you guys. It's like let's talk about the subject of doing a piece of artwork and then kind of halting
Sit-
on it
sitting to the
because
side.
you're afraid of screwing it up.
Right. And I was really afraid
That's
of
a real
screwing
thing,
this one up.
folks.
Oh, I have a piece still that I started back in high school that I've never
Oh.
touched again.
This is another commission that I did.
What piece is that, Scott? Have I seen it?
No, I'll never finish it. I don't know if anybody's seen it. Robert's seen it, but he's gone with the winds.
It's gone forever.
There's a little bit of that pastel look you were talking about.
Yes. Yes,
background.
but still, yeah,
And I used a little bit of the wash technique.
still more tonal range
Mhm.
than I usually see with watercolors.
So this one I did two as a commission. So I did two commissions, and this was this one particular dog for this client, and then this dog and another dog together.
Dog pictures.
And
I like that.
yeah, and these I have to admit I turned these around pretty quick. I turned these around in like 2 weeks, both of these together, because I knew that I had to get them done for
But not the
for
horse
a gift. They were for but not the horse piece. And then we're going to take this back to the art school days here. So
Wow.
this was a class assignment back in 1990.
That's really cool.
Wow.
So it's a crystal lion. And then the last piece I got here, watercolor, and this is gouache watercolor. Gouache is more opaque than regular watercolors, but it's still a watercolor.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've heard gouache, but I don't know what the hell. Yeah.
And
I've never used gouache.
you still have to think about it in the same way as well.
Ronnie
It-
says, wow, all you guys are crazy talented.
And
Thank you.
then the last piece is
Thank you, Ronnie.
this one. I call it the chained gecko. It's just a key ring, but this is one of the ones I did for school as well.
That's cool, man. You can tell exactly what it is, and you can tell the the materials as well.
So that's all of my. That's
You see that's gouache?
that's gouache. I
Gouache
mean,
time.
there's other things I could show, but we're just gonna leave it at that.
Real quirk, Will. Real
Little
quirk.
quirk.
Real
quirky.
quirk.
Real quick. You guys were asking about those other commissions, and just so people know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
hang on. Let me get you up on the.
Yeah, this is like the size of like the cards.
Yeah.
To do some of these card arts, they're blank cards.
Oh, okay.
So he sent me, and I'm gonna try to show these off the best. I know
I
I got
can see that.
I got a lot of
That's
glare
cool.
here,
I see that great.
so people can now play with these cards. I don't know what Steve's gonna do with them. He's paying me. I'm giving them to him. He can do whatever he wants.
So you are going to send those off to Steve here soon.
These are commissions. These are done.
Yep.
If I can get the thing to focus, oh well.
Well, it did earlier.
Well, I will I'm gonna post these on Facebook too.
Polly Picone.
Polly the pigeon Picone. There's Steve's wife, Sage the Wiccan Witch.
All right, the Wiccan Witch.
That's what she thinks.
Isn't that an oxymoron?
And then Gia de la Muertos. Anyways, these are the small cards I did the card art for. Just finished these up this week too. So just doing some commissions.
Very cool.
So
I'm Dirk, the Gothic Goth.
are you? You better not make fun of a witch, man. They'll put a spell on you.
I'm just Walty Walt.
And the Funky Bunch.
No. There's no funky bunch.
Okay, I'm going to share one of my little things here. This is going to be quick because I'm right in the middle of this. That's Lady Loki. I got inspired by Loki. This is the Lady Loki from the comics because there was a extended period. I've been reading a lot of Loki comics here lately. I didn't talk about that last week, but I've actually enjoyed them quite a bit.
Okay.
So anyway, this is the Lady Loki. I haven't been reading the Lady Loki comics, but anyway, that's her. And then there's about halfway through the inks. Just if you want to see kind of the process. I mean, I was working on that right before the show, and I'd say I have about another 10% of it inked after I prepared that piece. So there's my deal. Sean, you want to share your thing here?
Sure.
Why not?
Unlike everybody, I don't have a whole lot of stuff that I can really share right at the moment. But if you're curious about getting something by me, you can go to RainKingStudios.com, go to the About Us page, to me, and then over to the Sean Wilson's Commission, where you can purchase a sketch, a colored sketch, inked
Of a pig?
Sure. Of anything you
pig.
want.
What is
Anything at all.
What is?
She thick,
Can
as
you
the kids
talk-
would say.
Thick thighs save lives, folks. What is the impetus for this character?
There's a local restaurant here whose mascot is a pig, and the owners of the restaurant.
They sell chicken?
Actually, yes, and they wanted a female companion for their mascot, as well as updating their mascot, and this happened to be the illustration that I did for that. In the end, the owner made an executive decision and said, "Nope, we're just gonna keep our old pig and
Keeping the old pig."
And that's
there
that.
you go." So I said, "Fine, I'm taking the chick pig with me." So I use her for all kinds of ads.
Yeah. So this is a breakdown of kind of the different versions or whatever of characters that you offer.
Yes, obviously, first up is a sketch and a breakdown of the prices for the sketches, as well as an approximation of how long it would take. If you want color added to that sketch, same thing. Prices down below and approximately how long it'll take. For if you want the penciled sketch inked, as before, the cost and approximate time, and then a final of some base colors and whatnot. If you want to go full bore. See what I did there? Bore.
I see what you did there.
Or
See what you did there.
I'm right,
Ah.
that's hamtastic, Sean.
Wow.
That beautiful. So
Hamtastic.
fantastic. So again, if anybody's interested, if anybody's curious, if anybody just wants to do something fun and silly, just take a look at the prices and whatnot, as well as various logos. I've been doing logos for more years than I care to talk about. I've been doing graphics for way too long. But with that has come a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. And so I'm trying to pawn some of that off onto some of those out there that may not have the same skill set that I do. I can do any type of logo, or if you're needing a header for your comic, by all means, let me see what I can do for you. And yeah, there you go.
All right. Are you through hogging this segment?
Yeah. It's not all about
Get
you.
it? Hogging?
I mean, I could hog it if
Hogging
you-
the segment.
I got it.
I could probably pork some more
Hey!
information in here, but
Hey,
Hey.
let's not. Oh,
Let's not pork too much.
we're not going to talk
not
about
gonna-
porking, are we?
Hey, we're just ribbing you here.
Oh. Hey, oh.
Can we talk about Snake
I'm just
Eyes?
needing to get some bacon. That's all I'm working on.
I got you. So anyway, there's a little update on
All right.
the sort of stuff we can do. Hey, Sean also was working on something for Robert here over the past week, and it's very much in flux. It's not done yet, but I saw him working on it. So he's working on like actual like comic pages, which is no joke. It's a lot of work. So anyway, hopefully we'll have some of that to share with you pretty soon.
When I get to a decent
But there's an
point,
update
I'll-
on kind of some stuff that we've done lately as a group here. We had 5 artists on at one time.
Right.
All right. Here comes the next thing. Let's see. What are we going to do here on this? Let's do this. Next, what I want to talk about is Both Down goes to Twisted Lords.
Oh, we're gonna do that.
Yep,
Okay.
we're doing that next.
Man, I didn't not know that's what we were doing right now. So I'm in the middle of playing a game, and now you're throwing me off.
Oh, I see. Good. That makes my day.
I'm playing a little Magic Arena because I thought we were going to play something else. So let's talk about Twisted Lords Con. You
You
ready?
shouldn't be playing any games right now. Is what you should be doing is paying attention to the show.
What? Why would
thought we
you
were-
do that, Walt?
Well, I can do multiple things at one time.
Hey,
So you
if
just
you're
need to
having-
relax.
If you're having to multitask,
You
you've
cannot.
got improper time management. So come on now.
Walt. I just won. Boom! Boom! I did it. I multitasked. All right. So Both Down goes to Twisted Lords Con. Was it last week that Tony Radford was on the show
He
talking?
was on for about 15 minutes talking about Twisted Lords Con. We had the guy who coordinated this thing on
Yeah,
the show.
he was
and
part of
told
the
us all about
staff.
it.
Yeah. It was really funny because this last weekend in Oklahoma City area, there was the Horror Con,
Yeah,
there was New World Con,
yeah.
there was Twisted Lords Con, and from what I was told, there was a comic type convention out in the Shawnee area, which is about a 30-minute drive from where
Really?
we're currently at.
Wait a minute. What was that?
I have no idea. I don't even know
Okay.
if it's true.
I completely missed that.
I heard 2 other people mention it. So if
The
Robert was
others
here,
I
he
heard
could,
about.
he might be able to confirm, or maybe somebody got it confused with the New World Con. I don't know
That's
for
very
sure.
interesting.
So at least to
Hey,
the
that's really good news.
the buzz at Twisted Lords Con was talking about how there was 3 other cons going on at the same time, which you kind of really split your forces in a lot of ways because you kind of are at the same target audience in a lot of ways too. Twisted Lords Con, I guess, is every year from what I understand. It's Tony talked about last week. I think it's sponsored by Warlord Games. The guy who runs Warlord Games is the main backer or the sponsorship guy, whatever. Anyways, me and Steve from Both Down were there at the con to go to the Blood Bowl tournament that they had there for the first time since Twisted Lords Con began, and we walked around, and I don't want to, like, Steve goes, how does it feel to be the young guy at the con? Because as you can see, this is a board game convention or a gaming convention, but these are a lot of games that were out, like all the old Avalon Hill games that were, not like they are now. These are the old stat games that had a lot of stats, not very many pretty graphics. But that's all we had back then. So we played. There was people playing old school role playing games. They actually did have a up to date board game library.
This
that
setup
families
here looks really complex.
Yeah, I
this
don't.
Is quite a.
I'm not sure what this is. I believe that is the. There was some cowboy games there that were like a skirmish game with like you were just gunfighting, and they had like little plastic cows, and they had some awesome awesome setups there. I know they had like bolt action, which is like World War II combat. They had some old they had naval battles. There was somebody set up with all these pirate ship battles. It was it reminded me of going to a gaming convention back in like 1990 where guys were playing the same stuff that was only like 8 years old at the time. And now here they are, they're still playing it. There was a guy, and I don't know if I had a picture of it. There was a guy that had a Circus Maximus, which I think is a 1973 game of chariot racing, like in the Roman times.
Oh, yeah.
But this guy made a big scale that was about 12-foot long board, and he had all these people playing, and as they raced, they put little mini bets on, and somebody would be like, that guy in the lead, if somebody kills him, here's $20, and they put it in there, and everybody would cheer, "Rah!" And then they were just having a blast. I think there was 182 people registered, so that was a pretty good turnout for them.
That looks like
an aircraft carrier. Yeah,
that's an aircraft carrier. That was for some other game. Over there in the corner, you see the banners. There was a place that did all the special banners that you could get printed or made or buy there to hang up in your house.
Can you guys name what these are? That's the Imperial. And
that's the Imperial, the Rebels.
Rebel deal. What is
that?
That's a Mandalorian.
That's the Mandalorian stuff.
What is that?
I think there was Harry Potter stuff.
That's the First Order.
First Order.
Is that First Order? Okay.
Yeah.
There's this guy that had an awesome Judge Dredd setup.
Ronnie won't shut up about Harry Potter.
Ronnie loves Harry Potter.
Oh, he loves him so much.
I think I had a few more pictures.
Everything has to be Harry Potter this and Harry Potter that.
That's the voice. Picture. That's the voice there.
Is that the voice?
That's the voice.
So this is a gentleman who had an English accent, but he was from like North Carolina. He had a giant setup of Judge Dredd. Yeah. And I tell you what, if I didn't already own about 150 board games that I try to play and never have time to play, I might have bought this cool Judge Dredd game but this is the type of game that you have to buy the miniatures, clean the miniatures, paint your own miniatures, and then you can make your own terrain. But the terrain he had set up, if you click through the pictures, you can see the other one. There's like a Statue of Liberty in the background somewhere.
I mean, look at all this stuff up here,
dude. Yeah. It was amazing. I mean,
these are some robots here, and I mean, you can go down the street and.
Yeah, I ended up buying. This guy had like some of those little houses and stuff. He had terrain.
Lord.
Wow.
What the he had this?
He had terrain for this that he would like burn it out of wood, and then you could put it together. This like wood structures, like the houses and the buildings in the background, and you just buy this kit, and it was already like kind of cut out for you, and all you had to do is kind of put it together. This is another Judge Dredd thing.
All of the characters here,
dude. It gets even better. Keep going.
I mean, look at this.
No, I know. This guy was selling terrain like crazy. There's this Statue of Liberty head. Yeah.
Wow.
It was really neat to see look at all these bikes in the background. The Judge Dredd. Yeah.
And that's like a garbage.
He's got a whole highway system there.
It was pretty impressive.
What the crud?
I would say my observation from
wait a minute. Is that the Mach 5?
No, that's not the Mach 5.
All right.
This was very old school gaming convention, and I think it was really cool that there's a market still out there for this.
Did he build this, or is this something that's available to buy?
He built, from what I know, he built this, and a lot of these structures he had the wood components. He had the wood components that you could punch out and then construct these things themselves.
Look at this thing. I mean, that's like a sign with like a video thing on it.
He had all sorts of things that you could punch out of wood. You could make paint stands and all sorts of stuff.
I mean,
Anyways,
this is
super nice
very
guy.
impressive.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
super
very
impressive.
I think there's another close-up
this
of the
one.
Judge Dredd. Yeah, there's the close-up of Dredd coming out of the building and stuff. But
And then there's the
well, I guess that's
History Incorporated.
yeah. And then the Scooby-Doo gang's over there.
Oh my Lord.
Isn't that pretty cool?
That's pretty cool.
Anyways, this guy was really nice. They only
Is that
had
Thanos?
if I don't know for sure. If I had to guess, they
Colors
had
are right.
8 to 10 vendors out there, and there wasn't like a big vendor hall. They were kind of on the ends of all these people playing games. Now we're going into the Blood Bowl. We played
Nuffle.
I guess he was calling it Twisted Lords Con Bowl, and so it was a 3-round tournament. There's I have the dwarves, and this is me versus the Amazons. And most people, if you play Blood Bowl, would know that the dwarves usually should beat Amazons, but I didn't. I got destroyed by the ladies, and I lost this game 2-0. Had some terrible dice rolls, but when you play dice games, that's gonna happen, right? So
Part of the game.
yeah, this was against a guy named Aaron. He had really cool miniatures. So if you go to the next picture, we'll just kind of go through these pretty quick. So this is more of the dwarves versus his Amazons. Aaron went on to win the whole tournament. He went undefeated. So this was game 2. We played a game, came back for game 2. Me and Steve, my both down partner, we both took dwarves to this tournament. And so it was dwarf on dwarf action. And
Dwarf on dwarf violence.
how I was complaining about some of my dice rolls in that first game, I had nothing to complain about here as my dice were hot. And I mean really hot. By turn 5, I killed 3 of Steve's guys and knocked them off the pitch. So I beat Steve 2-0. And then this was my dwarves versus a guy named Andy. He came down from Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, and he had just an orc team on there. And so you can see my little dwarves versus some of the biggins on the orc team. This was a pretty good matchup. It was a lot closer than what the score indicated, but my little dwarves managed to knock out 5 of his orcs, and only one of them recovered, and that was kind of the tail of the tape there. When you get down on people in Blood Bowl, it's hard to come back. So Andy ended up winning it all. He went first. He went undefeated. I thought that was pretty cool. He's a good player. Honestly, if my dice rolls were better, I don't know if I could have beat him. Like, he's a rare. When we sat down, he was hoping
our guest
for it.
last week.
That's Tony
Tony
presenting the awards there. So yeah, we had a lot of ranges. We had a lot of father and sons. Hey, look at this! This guy
Who's
right
this
here.
dude?
This handsome devil right here. This guy got the award for most casualties at the Blood Bowl tournament. So like he got a major award, and I'm holding it right here.
Most casual pants. Is that
No,
what you said?
most casual pants, which I did have on. In Blood Bowl, we give out awards for usually like first, second, and then it varies tournament to tournament, but you want to encourage people to keep playing after maybe they got beat a few times. Because like in Magic the Gathering or other tournament games, when people start to lose and they can't win nothing, they just quit. There's like, I'm done. Why waste my time? In Blood Bowl, we really try to keep everybody active. So a lot of times, most tournaments have trophies for like, if you have the most touchdowns or if you get the most casualties. And we also do a thing where we call it share the wealth. 90% of the time, the person who won first in a Blood Bowl tournament that went undefeated, they probably got the most touchdowns. They probably got the most casualties, and that's why they're first place. Or they have the best defense. And so instead of giving them like 4 awards, they kind of trickle them down to the other guys for sticking around. So anyways, I got this neat little trophy for my troubles of going to the Blood Bowl tournament. And there it goes. Let's see, look at that. Twisted Lords Con, sponsored by Warlord Games.
Cool.
Nice.
Most casualties. So anyways, pretty cool. It's there's only 5 awards there, and I got one of them. So happy about that.
Top 5 finish.
I think I finished third overall, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So, but still not a bad showing. I was really, really angry after game 1, though. I was not happy. I don't lose well.
Obviously. Do not play Gran Turismo and get into daily races. Do not.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can always turn that off. You can't do that when you're in person with a bunch of people.
Well, it's very noticeable when you do that, though, in the middle of a race.
Michelle's impressed with your award.
Thank you. It's a major award.
It's a major award.
Twisted Lords Con actually made me
He's kind of the GOAT.
Maybe. It made me actually kind of wish I had time to sit around and play some of the other games that were available. Those Blood Bowl tournaments are long. We played from 3 rounds was from like 3 to about 11:30. So, it's hard to do other things while you're there. They had a flea market section where people could buy a table for $5 and then sell their wares for like 4 hours and stuff. It was pretty neat. I would not say it was a board gaming convention like I am used to, with a ton of like newer board games from the last 20 years. But man, there was a lot of cool items there from 1970 to 1985. And there was even guys there from Oklahoma who created their own role-playing game and stuff like that. And they were out there, hawking their wares. Ben Burns' company, I think it's New Comet Games. They're out of Texas. They have Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting, which is like, just like you think, it's like the UFC, but with dinosaurs. That game's been that's
another one of those games.
It's made it through a Kickstarter or 2, so I mean it's popular in itself. And there was a guy that was also doing like embroidering stuff on there. So if you had a what do they call what you put alcohol in and you hide it like they did in the 50s, like Grandma had a flask. Thing. Yeah. So if Grandma had her flask, you could get like Grandma's name on it.
He would go right there.
You could drink. It was always weird as a kid. You're like, how much can you put in this little thing that's thin? Like I never understood that. I was like
trying to sneak it in someplace. It's better than
I guess.
Nothing.
But he had cool
during
things like
your PTA conference.
I guess so. I mean, that was the way of the people were back then, right? Now people just drink right in front of you. They're like,
now they just
had a bad day.
Now they
5
just have
o'clock
cocktail
somewhere.
hour, man.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Cherie says, spoiler alert: Spice King doesn't lose well.
No, not in any game. I don't like losing. Why waste your time? I think I handled it well.
I was going to say Scott has an EGOT. That's like Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Twisted Lords.
EGOT. Anyways, fun time. Robert wasn't the only one. It was nice to kind of go to a con. So even though like it wasn't 100% made for me, I wish I would have had more money. I mean, in some ways, if I had more money, I would have spent more money. So that's a good thing.
We just had 2 very serious discussions on cons in the same episode. We haven't done that in a long time.
And you know what? And
go ahead.
And you guys had, what was it? You said 4 that went on up there. I think we had 4 down here this weekend as well. And I can't even remember the names. The only one I can remember is RetroCon because I had 2 friends that I know that were attending those that had tables. And then there was, I want to say that there was another 1 or 2, maybe 3 other, maybe a toy show or something else that went on down here this weekend.
I did find a Grail board game. And by that, I mean, like everybody talks about like games they can't no longer buy, but if they had $500 or more, they would try to buy it. There was a guy that had the Queen's Gambit Star Wars game from like episode 1. This is I believe it's Avalon Hill makes this board game. A guy had a used copy there. He said all the pieces were in there. He wouldn't tell me what his bottom price was at all. And I tried to like, just kind of like, so what's your bottom price? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, I might have a buddy interested in this if you give me a bottom price. And he's like, well, I don't want to part with it. I wouldn't ask like $600, but I'm not going to give it away for like $200. And I'm like, all right, bro, I don't do negotiation well, so I don't need it. So
watch American Pickers, man.
But it is
That's
a really
all people
hard
negotiating.
I know. But that
Pawn Stars or whatever.
I've never seen that board game in person, so that is one of those games that supposedly is really good and hard to find, and will never get reprinted again. Years old, so
right.
Oh well.
Avalon Hill, is Avalon Hill still around?
Yeah, they do games.
Yep. All right, we're going to move on to our next section.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to wrap these two things kind of into the same section here real quick so that this doesn't go till midnight.
Oh, yeah. I got kids to see.
I understand. The first thing we're going to talk about is there was a Snake Eyes reboot this weekend, opened on Friday. They made about $12 million on the opening weekend. And it lost to Old, which is the M. Night Shyamalan horror movie or whatever we're going to call it. It's probably got I'm thinking it may have a twist ending.
What a twist!
What a twist!
What a twist!
What a twist!
So anyway, it lost to that. I think Old made about $15 million, which neither one is worth writing home about. $15 million is not a really great opening weekend either. Snake Eyes was made for about $90 million. I looked that up. So basically, just to throw it to the group, I just want to ask if anyone has any idea, kind of what happened here. Is there just no interest in this? Is this new G.I. Joe thing done before it gets started, do you think? For those who saw it, I think it's just Sean and I, right?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet either.
If you have
And
seen
based
it,
on whatever your thoughts are, it's going to determine whether I care or not.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we'll give a very brief, spoiler-free review of it. Sean,
You're not going to care.
And and if you want to talk about G.I. Joe, I mean, like what G.I. Joe means to you from long ago, whether it means the cartoons or the comics from back in the 80s, you can talk a little bit about that. I know that there's one or two people who do care about that sort of thing. So first, since Sean has seen the movie, I'm going to go to Sean.
I'm old. I'm very old.
You're crusty old.
I'm saying.
Damn.
And I grew up with the 12-inch
Michelle says
G.I. Joe.
She wasn't interested in that movie.
She was the smarter of the group. I grew up with the 12-inch figures. Had several of those as a kid.
Yes.
And so
Ditto that.
I had 12-inch figures as well.
Whenever they came out in the early 80s with the 3 3/4-inch action figures, I was like, oh, excellent. I'm diving headfirst into this. And I did. I scooped up a bunch of those, lawn mowing money and whatnot. I spent anything and everything I could on G.I. Joes. I was obsessed with them. Then the cartoons came out, and I was really digging on I take that back. I also started getting into the comic books, and then the cartoon came out, and again, I was really kind of captivated by the whole Yo Joe. So I know the history that was written by Larry Hama of Snake Eyes,
right?
His origins,
through Marvel Comics,
right? Some of the history from the animation, and obviously from the previous 2 G.I. Joe films. Now we get to the Snake Eyes origin film, and I was extremely disappointed. The action in it was great. All of the characters were very well done as far as their action, their on-screen presence, and so on. Costuming, everything, sets, beautiful. The story was terrible. Nothing. They literally looked at everything that was Snake Eyes and said, "Nah, not doing that," and they did their own thing. So any knowledge that you have of Snake Eyes prior, forget that. That it doesn't matter. we're starting fresh, we're starting new, a totally new palette, as well as the direction. I don't know what it is with a lot of modern directors. They can't seem to direct action. It's they all went to the Greengrass School of Filmmaking, and it's all shaky cam and super zoom. Get right in there, and so you can't see what actually is happening. Quick cuts and all of that, which really removes a lot of the tension. Really removes a lot of the skill and practice and training that these guys go through to make a great action movie. I fully understand why this movie didn't make a whole lot of money, just based off the trailers. I was already going into it kind of having a bad feeling, and my suspicions were correct.
I had the 12-inch figures too for G.I. Joe. And then kind of when G.I. Joe came out with the 3 3/4 inch characters, I was kind of out of toys, so I didn't really get into those. But I did pick up like the first issue of G.I. Joe. Wish I'd held on to that. That was written by Larry Hama, so I was also familiar with that. And I watched the cartoon. I wasn't like crazy about it, but I did watch it and was familiar with it, and had friends that was very into G.I. Joe. They loved the articulation of the characters and stuff. So, I was definitely around and was familiar with that. I watched the other films that had come out with G.I. Joe and hoped that they would be great. I think that the first one was kind of lousy. The second one I felt like was better. Still not as good as it maybe could have been, especially if they didn't kill off all what's-his-name's characters halfway through the film. So now you have this reboot of this character, and what they've done is some people are very upset about the fact that they're not going by the Larry Hama, origin story of this character. I think that for one thing, the character of Snake Eyes in this case is he's not a really great guy. He's not really much of a hero. I mean, he makes a lot of bad decisions throughout the film that kind of put him in the not good guy category. That's an issue maybe if you're trying to tell G.I. Joe was typically very much a morality tale. And if your good guys are acting like bad guys, that might be a little bit of an issue. I also had a problem with the Greengrass style, monkey holding, an epileptic monkey holding a camera shots. Those are difficult to follow what the heck is going on. I think that the stunt coordination was fine there. If you are into Snake Eyes, like Snake Eyes is my favoriteest character ever. Snake Eyes is not really in this film, folks. Snake Eyes, the Snake Eyes thing that you are used to seeing shows up at the very end. And the rest of it, the story reminds me a lot. Sean, help me out here. There was a movie that was done by Scott Glenn where it was 2 brothers that were trying to get a sword, and they had like a guy who was Guy Jen, who went into this training camp and went through the whole routine of kind of becoming one with these people, and then ended up like
that's from the 80s or something.
It is. It's a great film, by the way. But
The Challenge
could be The Challenge. He ends up stealing from these people who took him in and stuff. And the beats are very similar in this movie I'm probably the only person on the internet would call them out on this, but it feels very much like that Scott Glenn movie to me. Look, if you look at movies and you realize that this movie was made for $90 million, and that in the first weekend they didn't even make $15 million, not even a quarter of what it needs to make. if you want to make up the money for your movie, the first weekend you make $10 million, the next weekend you make $5 million, the weekend after that you make $2.5 million. It's diminishing returns in half of whatever you get. It's going to be very difficult for them to make up that $90 million that they spent on this. This G.I. Joe iteration may already be over, folks. Scott, what do you think?
I don't want to see this movie at all now that you said this. So.
Well, a lot of people already didn't see the movie, and I think that once they hear about this, that they're going to maybe have the reaction that you have.
I mean, so without sounding like old and white, I immediately asked when we came on, I was like, so did they change Snake Eyes to an Asian person?
Yep.
And when Walt said yes, or you guys said yes, I was like, this feels like we're very much marketing it. You know how they always say all these movies are marketed towards China? And I thought, well, maybe that's what we're doing here. Now, I will accept that I'm never going to get the G.I. Joe I grew up with, which is, I mean, the best stuff for G.I. Joe is in the comics. Larry Hama is got to be in his 80s or close to. And
I think that's true.
He's still writing
You'll never
the
get
comic
it that good.
that originally started with Marvel. Then it had like no time. It was not published for like 10 years. And then IDW started picking it up. And they just picked up the number that G.I. Joe left off at Marvel. They picked up right after that.
I didn't realize they did that. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, we're on issue 280 right now of G.I. Joe, the real American hero. That's the Larry Hama's book, and he's wrote all of those. It's still good. It still feels like a kind of an 80s comic, but it's entertaining. And for those of you out there, Snake Eyes is dead. He's been dead for about 2 or 3 years. The original character of Snake Eyes
Make that
died.
about 4. Make that about 4.
Is it 4 now? Okay.
Yeah.
But that character died, and he did a good job of killing him off. And then the G.I. Joe team had to, they said, well, hell, if Snake Eyes is dead, Cobra's going to maul us. So we have to get somebody else in to stand in for Snake Eyes. And it made sense. And so they get this other guy to stand in who's a great athlete and everything else. And so, anyways, long story short, there's a new Snake Eyes. And I'm not shocked because the very first G.I. Joe movie kind of sucked. And then the second one was, I think we all can say that really The Rock is the only thing that made us like that movie. And,
right. And I mean, I liked, what's his name, but they killed him off at the beginning of this thing. Channing Tatum was also, the relationship between the banter between those two was gold.
Right. I mean, the toys, what did they give us? They moved different than Star Wars toys. Yes. And as a little boy, I'd rather have played Star Wars all day long. But when I saw those action figures that could actually bend their elbows and not walk around stiff-legged, I was like, I got to have one of these. I don't even know what they are. I don't know what they do. This was before the cartoon. I remember my first one. It was Short Fuse. And I immediately took him and wanted to go play Star Wars with him. And I jammed big guns in his hands and broke off his thumbs like every little boy did.
Yeah.
So I had thumbless guys, and I had to act like he got his fingers blown off by a grenade and all that.
Keith,
he could do kung fu at that point. So yeah. Anyways, and then the cartoon came out, and then they did a great campaign with Marvel Comics. I mean, they had the little animation running, and it says, read this in Marvel Comics. And as a little boy looking for superheroes and stuff, that was awesome. I mean, that was way cooler than watching Smurfs or anything else like that on TV and stuff. And you had this evil organization that still kind of looked cool, but you wanted them to lose, but you kind of rooted for them. And anyways, it was very cool. And if you remember even in the cartoons, I mean, they featured Snake Eyes some, but that wasn't the focal point. It's Larry Hama's comics that made Snake Eyes what he was.
That is true.
Snake Eyes was kind of a side character through that whole series as they followed Scarlet, Duke, Lady J, and Flint, through the G.I. Joe team. And unfortunately, Shipwreck. Oh, my God. But it is what it is. I'm really sad to see that they dropped the ball again. There's times where I just want to go wring the neck out of Hollywood and go do you not realize what you're making a movie for?
It's Hasbro. It's
I mean-
Hasbro Entertainment.
I mean, it's theirs, and they don't even know what to do with it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's like somebody just keeps crapping their pants over and over, and it's like, bro, there's a bathroom right over here. It's like, nope, I'd rather crap my pants. It's still good when it's warm. It's still good when it's warm. It's only when it gets cold. It's only when it's cold that I feel weird.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it's sad because I didn't know anything about this movie. I didn't watch one trailer on purpose because I thought if I do get to go see a movie, I want to be surprised. Now that you guys say it sucks, I don't want to see it. I was willing to go see Asian Snake Eyes and be okay with that because I'm not the Marvel guy that thinks like the movies have to match the comics. Otherwise,
I'm not either.
The movies would be so convoluted.
I'm not
and
either.
ridiculous. I mean,
I'm
it's just like
open
those
to-
the Marvel movies. You got to remember, there's
I'm
like
open to
300
reboots.
bad issues before you get one or two good issues to make a movie out of. So just
Right.
remember that.
I think there are a lot of properties where the redo is better than the original.
Well, it's sad to hear that it sucks so bad. So, and I hate that fighting that you're talking about. I don't know what y'all calling it, like green grass cutting or whatever.
Yeah, it's
the stuff that
just
just flashes
I'll
around.
Everything
Oh.
is.
As a good example is what
It gives you a
what
headache.
you're talking about. Watch the Elektra movie and all
Oh,
the
yeah.
fight scenes.
Dude,
That's
she
I've
got
seen Elektra.
robbed.
she got robbed. They all got robbed in that movie as far as all the work that they put in to do those fight scenes, and they're filmed horribly.
Mhm.
As far as a martial arts movie, that to me that is the worst martial arts movie I've ever seen. I mean, all those crappy 80 martial arts movies like American Ninja outdo that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
man,
for sure.
Here's real Snake
Keith,
Eyes.
Keith says,
Real Snake Eyes.
there's the real Snake Eyes, y'all, from
Keith
the
says
Larry Hama
G.I.
comics.
Joe. Keith says G.I. Joe peaked at the Kung Fu Grip. Another really old guy opinion.
Actually, it peaked with Eagle Eyes.
I
Is that
love
from the
that
dolls?
And
Yeah,
Grease
it had
Yeah.
a little lever on the back
Had
of
a
the
little
head.
lever in the back of the head, and it made his eyes do this.
Mhm.
No, the little action figures were my G.I. Joe. Sorry, you guys are older than me. I get it. I just
Yeah.
don't get it.
Jerry
Well,
says
it-
Dirk just
it-
spouted a whole lot of numbers. I can do
it's sad.
numbers if we're talking box office.
It's sad because
That's one case where numbers I'm okay with.
Me being the big, everybody knows I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan. So, from reading the comics and going back to, Larry Hama used his own, his own experiences from Vietnam.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why it
In
was
the comics.
legit.
And, and to hear that the origin is so,
It
greatly
could not
changed.
be more removed from that.
I mean, you could say like today. I mean, we've been in basically at war for the last 20 years in Afghanistan and in and out of Iraq. You could
Mhm.
easily change that story
Right.
to fit that.
Right.
And I know another friend out there, Chris. If you're watching this, or if you watch it, he had posted a while back on his Facebook page, no love for Stalker again,
Again.
because in the original origin of Snake Eyes, Stalker,
He was the team leader.
Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and I can't remember the other one. There was a fourth one. They were all in Vietnam together.
Hmm.
And and so you've got all these other things. There's the relationship with Scarlet. Everybody knows that, but as you know, in the cartoon they changed that relationship between Scarlet and Snake Eyes to be Scarlet and Duke. Don't understand why, but as far as the last two G.I. Joe movies, the first one stunk. It stunk.
It was bad.
In fact, when that movie ended, I did not care for the Duke character whatsoever. In fact, I wanted him to die. And then the second movie comes up. And then there's the
who
and then there's
played
the
him?
What's that?
Who played him? Who played
The
Duke?
Duke?
I can't remember
Channing
his name.
Channing Tatum.
Tatum
So-
plays that.
So
Oh,
and so and
That's
then
not
the
who I
other
was
thing
thinking.
is other thing is that they changed Duke from being a sergeant to a captain, and if anybody knows anything about GI Joe, there are no officers. There are very few officers in GI Joe, and Duke is a sergeant. Most of the people in GI Joe are enlisted men, and that's the other thing that makes the characters so great, is that these aren't people who graduated from the academies. These are enlisted men.
These are battle worn. These are
battle worn enlisted men who were picked out to be in GI Joe. So having Duke as a captain really chapped my hide, so to speak. But the second movie, that's funny. The second movie was better, mainly because John M. Chu. If you don't know who John M. Chu is, he's the director of Filthy Rich Asians. I think that's what it was, or whatever. Yeah. And he was a fan. He was a fan of G.I. Joe. He talked about growing up playing with the toys and watching the cartoon and reading the comic books. And even he says, they could have done better with the second movie, but they ran out of money. So most of the money was spent on that Snake Eyes Storm Shadow fight scene in the mountaintops.
Right.
And then they spent the rest of the money on that tank at the end of the movie.
Which was real.
Which was real. And the guys who created that tank also tried to sell it to the military, by the way, if you didn't know.
Wow.
I believe they're still in negotiation.
And I think they are still in negotiation. And if it does get bought by the military, I guarantee it's going to be used by special forces.
That's pretty amazing.
So there are some good things that came out of that movie. Was it perfect? No. Was it better? Definitely.
It was. Yeah.
I mean, the ending was, you could tell the ending was rushed.
Yeah.
For sure.
But as far as, anything G.I. Joe, if you want to see a really good movie, I had to go find this. I said, show it off. If you find this,
dude, that sucker's awesome.
Buy this.
What is that?
G.I. Joe Resolute.
Yeah. What is it was
right
a direct-to-video, or what was it?
Actually, what it was it was a 9-part miniseries that aired on Adult Swim.
Oh,
okay. The segments were about 5 minutes each.
Okay. It was a lead up to the movie when it came out.
Yeah, they were about 5 or 10 minutes each, and the last episode was like a little bit longer, and it did so well they put them all on, collected on DVD. By the way, written by Warren Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
Written by Warren Ellis. So
wow, all right.
That's on my shelf.
Yeah, and what they did was if you were a fan of the comic book and the cartoon, because they were both vastly different.
Yes.
They kind of said it's a melding of the two. It's kind of an ending story, and it's a melding of the two. And I highly recommend it if you're a G.I. Joe fan. In fact, to me, this is the best motion picture for G.I. Joe ever.
All right.
I would agree with that. I mean, let's remember in this, it's not a spoiler necessarily because it happens in the very beginning of the movie. We kill off Bazooka, and we kill off Major Blood.
Major Blood.
Well, you just ruined it for me, Sean.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Because again, that happens right in the very beginning.
That's at the very beginning of the movie.
And that sets the tone for the rest of the film.
For the Snake Eyes movie?
No. For this.
No.
G.I. Joe Resolute.
There's about 4 people in the Snake Eyes movie.
G.I. Joe Resolute. It happens in G.I. Joe Resolute. And it's like I said, if you want to see a really good G.I. Joe movie, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or watch G.I. Joe, the movie. The cartoon.
Well, you know what? Watch that for the opening alone. For the opening segment alone. When that movie came out and I recorded it on DVD, I watched that opening so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, the song is better. The animation in that I was like, okay. After I've watched this 5 times, I can watch the movie now. So,
By the way, if you see that color change, Zartan, grab it for me.
I think it's going to be a special thing.
It's gonna be like the exclusive on their website. or
Hasbro
something.
Pulse, and
Really?
this is the problem. This is the problem with Hasbro Entertainment. I'm just going to throw this out there to you, Hasbro.
I better get an alert.
Get people who like the material, the original material. Get people who like the original material. And another thing that I'm going to say out, and I'm going to throw this out to DC and Marvel both, and anybody else out there who's big in doing comics. The thing that got me to the store to buy the toys and the comic book were the animated commercials. Both DC and Marvel are owned by 2 companies that have 2 big animation houses. Why the hell are you not doing animated commercials advertising your damn comic books and your toys?
Yeah.
That's what got me in the stores. I'm going to say it again. Just make these animated commercials. And I've said that many times before. I've said it, that's what got me to buy your stuff. And that's it. That's all I got to say about this.
Scott, do we need to let you go, or do you want to stick around for this next?
Well, let's go.
All right,
Let's
we're gonna
go.
move right into it. The internet loses. I'm going to try to break this down the best I can.
Oh, Jesus Christ! There's another subject.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Scott.
Let's go.
The internet has lost their mind over another 80s franchise, which is He-Man, which came out over the last few days. I think it premiered on Friday. Is that correct?
Friday,
Also,
yeah.
Also on Friday, produced for Netflix, written by Kevin Smith. There are, without getting into too much, I don't want to get into specifics and spoil anything for anyone. He-Man is not the focus of the Masters of the Universe.
Thank God. Thank
Okay.
God.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a point of contention. There's apparently a character or two that doesn't make it through the first 5 episodes. Some people have some very big problems with that. This is unquestionably a little bit more. It actually picks up kind of from the cartoon series. So for people who are concerned about something where they reboot it and they change everything or whatever, this is,
It's not a reboot.
We picked up right where we left off.
Not really a reboot.
We things are very much changed in this universe, but it doesn't neglect anything that was laid out previously. And so anyway, I complained a lot about social justice warriors who have issues. In this case, it's not the social justice warriors who have the issue. In this case, it's the people who don't like the changes that were made, either because it doesn't do exactly what it did previously, or it focuses on characters that they don't want you to focus on. So that's, again, without spoiling the thing.
You've made me want to watch this now.
Watch it.
Okay. All right.
Because all you people back there who remember He-Man being great, that cartoon sucked
Yes, it does.
balls.
It's
Sucked
bad.
balls. And we
It's
only
bad.
watched it because it was on TV and most of us had 6 total damn channels.
Right.
It sucked.
It's bad.
We watched it, but it sucked. We also watched She-Ra because they at least had some brawny guys walking around that kind of mimic superheroes. It sucked. Filmation sucked. But we watched it.
Yeah,
God dang it.
I recently tried to watch the original episodes, and
They're awful.
I got 3 minutes into it, and I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I mean, you want to talk about people talking about things being woke or extra preachy, super preachy. He-Man was a super.
Oh.
It was like after watching it, I was like,
It was
man,
like,
I just got home from school. Why
it
am
was
I
like
getting?
eat your vitamins and drink your milk, brother.
Yeah. No, it was worse than that. It was worse than that.
It was bad.
Oh my
It
god.
was very much, the more you know type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was like if if I wanted that, I would turn on Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Rogers does a better job at it.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers definitely ages better than those He-Man cartoons.
Oh, definitely. I could sit. You know what? I could sit and watch a marathon of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, for days. But you sit me in front of that He-Man cartoon, I'm gonna go postal on some people.
It was really bad, and we used to make fun of it back then. But I mean, we watched it because it was on. We just happened to watch cartoons. We didn't have Cartoon Network. We had to watch them when they were on.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we wouldn't watch now. Try watching Inspector Gadget. It is. I want to cuss really bad. It is dog crap. It is crap.
Hey, but it's better than He-Man.
God dang.
Michelle says I loved He-Man.
It's better than He-Man.
They both hurt like sandpaper on your penis. Ugh.
And she likes the old one and the new one. She likes both of them.
Go back and watch that old one more time.
She gives you the DX chop.
All right.
Sean, you have your own take on this. What I know that you watched all 5 episodes.
I did.
Good for you.
What did you think about the? Oh, okay, you watched it too. I watched 2 episodes. Sean, what's your take on this versus the previous version and the grousing by the internet?
Well, right off, I do want to say that I was not a fan per se of the original. Much like Scott said, it was what we had, so we watched it. I did find the episodes to be extremely preachy, but at that point in time, every daytime kids show had to be. It was an SEC regulation. Yep. They had to have some sort of lesson or some sort of morality
Joe
tale.
ended with that stuff too.
Mm-hmm. And they always ended the show with kind of a wrap up of the theme of the show. Listen to your parents, eat your vegetables, take your vitamins, drink your milk, yada yada. And that always did that rubbed me wrong.
And knowing is half the battle.
It certainly is.
But I watched them. I was telling Dirk I rented because at the time that those were really hitting, I had moved out to the country, didn't have a whole lot of channels. I had less than 6, so I spent a lot of time at little mom and pop video stores, and I would rent the VHS tapes of He-Man, and I think the VHS tapes had like 4 episodes, and I'd watch through them because what else am I going to do, And I admittedly I would sketch the characters and try to get some of the motions down and some of the characters and whatnot. With that being said, I watched how the entire internet kind of, as you say, lose their shit over everything that was going on with this storyline. So going into it, I admit I was a bit apprehensive. Everybody was going on about how obviously the original cartoon was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This is the Masters of the Universe. Notice He-Man is not.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it already. You're getting me.
I mean, even the toys were called Masters of the Universe.
Right.
Yeah.
So going into it, the way I explained it was, this is a Masters of the Universe story. It is a story about Castle Grayskull, the power of Castle Grayskull, the power of the Power Sword, the power that is within He-Man. And the Tila character is the narrator along this story. Does it involve He-Man? Absolutely. I'm trying to think. I want to say that he's in every episode. I could be wrong. He might not have been in all of the episodes, but he's in most of the episodes via flashback or actual action. And so the focus not being on He-Man per se, it was never about He-Man. It was about Eternia. It was
Right.
about the world that they had created. If you watched a He-Man show, you'll note that all of the characters, because they were selling these damn toys.
Exactly.
What
Yeah,
new
our
freak-
cartoons are toy commercials.
Yeah.
what
22
new,
minutes of infomercial.
what new freak action figure can? Well, how about this one with an elephant head with an extending neck? Great, write a story around that. I mean, it was silly and it was fun and it was stupid, and you got more stupid watching it, but dadgummit, you enjoyed it. And you went out and you bought that toy so you could kind of take the story that you watched and make your own version and enjoy play. With this is an actual story. It actually has highs, it has lows. Not going to kid you, got a little teary on a couple of occasions. I didn't cry, but I did get misty. The story pulls on your heartstrings. Everybody's complaining. I say everybody. Several stories were complaining about Kevin Smith is trying to manipulate your emotions. Guess what, shitbird? Every movie manipulates your emotions. That's
crap.
what they do.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I said shitbird. I'm tired. I can't. You can't get on the internet. You can't do anything without the world taking everything and trying to destroy it before anybody gets a chance to see it.
No one has seen this thing yet, and it's got like a negative 46 Rotten Tomatoes,
It's great.
The
5 episodes are great.
Everyone is piling on this thing. Go to YouTube and just put in, Masters of the Universe or He-Man or Kevin Smith, and look at just look at the titles of all of the videos on YouTube that are bitching about what happens in this thing.
There's a lot of people that I value their opinion. A lot of YouTube channels that I watch that I look to for information on these things, and all of them are crapping on this show because of things that they read of other reviewers. They're not watching it.
They haven't watched it yet.
And they admit that they haven't watched the show, but they're still going to dog it. And they're still going to call Kevin Smith a liar because he told us this when it actually turns out to be what we had initially thought. But I'm not going to watch the show to verify that. I'm just going to jump on him and complain and call him a liar and all this. These first 5 episodes is the first part. There is a second part that is coming out later this year, and I can tell you from the first episode, you can already see the story, where it's going to go, or how it's developing. Yeah. And I can tell you, I personally, I'm looking forward to that second part. I'm really excited to see where the story is going to go. The only complaint that I have, literally the only complaint I have about this story, it's not its tone, because it is more adult and it is darker. There are deaths. There are characters who die in this.
Yep.
And you're not necessarily, excited about it. You might be, but you're a sick puppy. Some of these characters, even though they are not yet the primary characters, their loss is still felt in the overall story. I can see kind of the arc that he's going with, and I'm looking forward to that. I want everybody to just take a moment, stop complaining about it, and actually watch it. If you don't like it, totally understand. Rock on. Form an opinion of your own.
Right.
But form an opinion. Watch it. Take a look at it.
Don't wreck the ship before it gets out of the port.
No. Kevin Smith has been hounded over the last week, half a week or whatever.
It's been really about the last 2 months.
And
I mean, before it was even released, they were hounding him hard.
I've got to say, if he completely removes himself from society because of this, I totally understand. they've been hounding him like nobody's business, and there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
He is actually
Yeah.
crafted a very unique,
Like he
a
actually literally killed puppies.
he's crafted a unique story, I think, for this universe. He's crafted again an adult story that I think us more mature individuals growing up with this property are actually excited or would be excited to see this. The only complaint I was going to go on. The only complaint that I have of this show is the animation. Again, a lot of the modern animation, it's really choppy, and that pisses me off like you cannot even believe. If they would have just added, I know this sounds ridiculous. If you just added 4 more frames to a shot, and then you do that times whatever, you're adding another 6 months to production. But the animation was really choppy, and in certain sequences and whatnot, and that drove me absolutely up the wall. They've got the technology, they've got the money. Do it right. Take your time. Make it smoother, make it nicer, make it cleaner. I just beyond that, I think I love the character designs that they're doing with them. The updated designs that they're doing. Everything about it. I think it's a great show. Kevin Smith, if you see this, good job. I think you did a really, really
He
good
might
job.
appreciate this.
I was
he's getting
not,
it.
I would
I was not
stand.
disappointed at
a
all.
lot of different
I
angles.
would stand and give a standing ovation, but then I'd be off screen. But yeah, it's my only complaint, Sean, is that we got 5 episodes.
We got 5 episodes.
We only
It's a
got
hell of
5 episodes. That's
It's
my
a hell
only
of a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
And again, I'm super stoked. I believe it's in September that
yeah,
we're supposed to get the next 5,
yeah.
and hopefully after it's all done, Netflix pats Kevin Smith on the back and says, "You want to do another season?"
Hey, I would look at it like this. Have you watched the updated Voltron series that debuted on Netflix a few years ago?
I haven't had the opportunity. It's in my queue, but
it's the same. It's the same thing. The complaints
Really?
that are going on, it's the same thing because they totally. You want to talk about a total reboot? They did a total reboot. The characters are all the same. Like the one thing that they complained about is that they turned Pidge into a girl. And the whole thing about Pidge in that story, Pidge being a girl, totally makes sense. I mean, when you think about it, the original story, there was only one female, throughout the whole thing. And so, it needs another female character. But then there's more female characters throughout the whole thing. But getting back to He-Man, like I said, the original series was boring. And this one, it's like you said, it's more adult. The story centering, this Tila telling the story was perfect.
see, and that was, I don't know why everybody's getting all bent out of shape over that.
I don't understand.
Why does my Masters of the Universe not have He-Man in it? Did you
I don't
watch it? Well,
understand.
no, because everybody's told me. Well, piss off then.
Then you shouldn't have an opinion.
Yeah.
If you're not going to watch it, why do you have an opinion? Anyway.
All right. Michelle says, I want some He-Man PJs to wear while watching the part 2.
Oh, you know what? I was
I'm
at
gonna
Target.
say Grimgrok said a character may grow instead of staying the same. That sounds like a solid plot line. There is a story here, folks.
There is a very good story back
I hope
there.
he gets a chance to talk about it. And Michelle says, I like the old school animation.
Oh, and
the older animation, even though the stories were crap, the animation was really good.
the animation
for
was
the time.
great. Yeah.
I mean, granted, a lot of it was some rotoscope use from Filmation's other mini
things.
properties,
Yeah.
but it was still it was good animation. It was good for the 80s, I should say.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, and Sean, by the way, I saw the Skeletor figure, at the end of the 5
Right?
episodes. I saw that Skeletor figure.
Dude, did you pick it up?
I know, and it was the
You
last
should.
one there.
You
Well,
should.
later on, I'll show you why I didn't pick it up, because I got a feeling I'll be able to find it later. But
Apparently that sucker's going like crazy.
oh yeah. So I saw it and I was like, and this was before I watched the series. I was like, that's right, that series is out. So I hurried up, got what I was going for at Target, and rushed home and watched all 5 episodes.
You guys want to do promo time next, or
Yeah.
do you want to do On Blast?
Let's get promo time. Let's wrap this up.
All right, it's promo time. Go for it, Scott.
All right, you can catch me over at bothdown.com, where we talk all things Blood Bowl and other variant tangents just like this show. You can also find me at Real Scott Prime on Twitter, or you can catch me over there on Facebook. Just search Scott Prime and see the beautiful, handsome man. That is not me. That's another Scott Prime, but I'm the other guy, and you can follow me there.
Walt, you're up.
You can find me here at these places right there.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep it real short there. All these little places, and coming up soon, I will have the. I haven't gotten it all situated yet, but I'll be on Behance now, so you can see my watercolors there. Oh, actually, it is there. Never mind, Behance.
There you go. So people can see your stuff here.
So you can catch me at these places.
There you
I
go.
always get the hands mixed up. Right here.
All right. You're up next there, Sean.
As always, you can catch me at rankingstudios.com, as well as Facebook.com/Ranking Studios. Please feel free to stop by both and drop us a line. Let us know what you think. You can find myself, Dirk, and Scott, as well as our previous guest, Robert Henry, all on there at rankingstudios.com. Check out what we're working on, what we got coming up, and let us know what you think. Please.
Yeah, you
read
can see me at
everything,
Ranking
please.
Studios. You can also see Scott. You can see Robert. We were all 4 on here today. Also, I'm at Dark Hooper Plus on Twitter. You got me on Dark Hooper Plus on LinkedIn. I'm Dark Hooper just plain on TikTok, and Dark Hooper Artworks on Facebook if you want to keep up. I shared that pencil piece directly to the Dark Hooper Artworks thing. I shared that about a week ago. I'm still working on it. I'm hoping to finish it tonight. It's been crazy. Thanks, guys. Thanks to Robert for showing up tonight and telling us about his trip out to Horror Con. That was really cool. Thanks also to everyone who dropped by here and gave us some comments and stuff. We sure do appreciate it. We had some new people, which was cool. Thanks also to Scott and to Walt and to Sean for participating in this episode. And thanks everyone for watching us. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Walt's got a funky wrist thing. What is that, Walt?
It's my mini United States Championship, WWE United States Championship belt.
Walt is the United States champion.
There you go. Thanks everyone for dropping by. Please leave a like, share wherever you see this. We sure do appreciate that sort of thing. We'll be back week at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m.
Right.
Central on Tuesday. We'll talk.
Everybody
to you later.
smile like a 3-year-old.
Until next time. Dream hard.
Smile like a 3-year-old, Dirk.